Good morning and welcome to Sewing Street on Sunday morning. So it's Remembrance Day today, so if you've got any remembrance makes, I've been having a look on the fan page for Sewing Street and Yarn Lane, and a lot of you have been putting on pictures of different projects and makes you've made. Do send them into the studio. You can message us studio@sewingstreet.com because we'd love to see what you've made or what you've put. I noticed somebody had put on Facebook, they'd stuck a load of makes in their window. I thought that was really nice because obviously Remembrance Sunday is going to be a bit different this year, but we'd love to see you make, so send them in. Right, I'm going to start with our early bird, which is Christmas stockings. This is a really nice book. Written by Rachel Rowe. She's written a couple of books for Search Press, and what I like about this book, obviously it's Christmas stockings, there's lots of different styles, but there's lots of different techniques as well, and shapes, which is quite nice. And I think it'd be really nice this year, wouldn't it, you know, to make everybody a stocking. It makes it a lot easier sometimes for Christmas shopping, you know, when you think, oh, I can't think of one thing that somebody needs, I don't know what they need. It's sometimes nice to just buy them 5 little things, but if you make them a stocking and you put all those little presents in one, it looks like an amazing present. So if we just have a quick look through, you can have an idea of all the different stockings. There's a picture there of all of them. So if we have a look through, some of them have got normal toes, but some of them have got this really pointy, like pixie type toe. So we go through the materials and equipment, and there's information on making your basic stocking with some really good walkthrough photos as well. Really clear, easy to understand how to use Bonder web, which is always useful. And then we move into the projects, and this is I love this one. So this one is very simple applique made with felt. So there's all different skills, but levels as well. We've got a pom-pom one and little mini ones. I like those. That's a very classy one, isn't it? The stitched tree. I like that. That's just using very natural and buttons. So there are different stockings in here, you know, whether you were making them for a child or a man or a woman, an older person, a younger person. There's plenty that could go for everyone. And there's even an advent calendar one. So if you get your skates on, you could get all of them made, and you have a peg with different ones in there. You can just put like small presents or just chocolate coins in. And then bigger ones, there's a snowman, much bigger one, a toy sack. I like that one. It looks like a wee Willy Winky stocking, doesn't it? It's all sort of, yeah, just really natural. I love that one. I like this one, upcycled sweater. That's a really good idea, isn't it? So cut your sweater up, but they've obviously chosen one that's got buttons down. It's nice to do a bit upcycling, so then you don't have to, when you look at the projects in this book, none of them are using loads of different materials and fabrics. So it's a really good book to use for materials that you've already got, scraps, anything that you have, including old sweaters. This is quite nice, isn't it? A hand-stitched felt one, but you know, this is a patchwork one, so this is using tiny pieces. That's a really good way of using up things. So I just think, you know, sometimes it's the sort of thing you bring out. Obviously everyone has, not everyone, but a lot of people have a stocking they bring out year after year, but it's a really nice way of wrapping a present. So you can buy smaller gifts, wrap them in tissue paper, put them in here. But obviously remember that this is our early bird, so you make a saving. So this is only £4.99, this book. £4.99. And you know, all of these amazing ideas. This is the perfect way to wrap any present. So there's a Hessian one. Oh, that's a really pretty, that one's all presents, one with pom-poms. You can use up all your old sort of trims and ribbons, anything you've got. But what's lovely as well, in the back of the book, are the templates. And anyone who does sewing, which clearly all of you do, knows the benefit in full-size templates, because boy do we hate having to go to the photocopy shop and enlarge them. So look at all the templates. Now what I would say is, because you will probably want to use this time and time again, is you've got, look, there's the fun stocking and the normal one and the little one, and then the really big one, is don't cut them out of here, trace them. Greaseproof paper's fine, and then you can keep them again. But you know, this is a really big stocking, so this is your sort of super size one that you could use to hang on the mantelpiece, but this is the smaller ones for making into gifts, and a tiny one as well. But you can also use these as templates. If you wanted to make them bigger or smaller, you could, but it is lovely that you don't have to size them up. And at £4.99, that has sold all your Christmas wrapping things. And I always think, if you buy someone a present and then you wrap it in a handmade bag, or even better, a handmade stocking. It sort of adds super value to it. So you can buy them something that's less expensive, but once you've made it into a handmade stocking, and it's the sort of thing that if you gave this to someone, they'll keep year after year. You can make the mini one for your table presents. So you can make the tiny stockings and maybe put a couple of chocolates or a small cracker type gift in them, and they could be on your Christmas table. And it's just, you know, if you've got a free Sunday afternoon, it's a really nice thing to make. So £4.99, very good value for money, and you've got a lot in there. Sue and Kate say good morning. Good morning, Sue and Kate. Good morning, Joanna. Glad you're all watching. It is foggy. I was driving up to the motorway this morning, and I was like, I almost had my head on the road trying to see, and then this van came past me, super speed. I thought, well, good luck to you, mate, because now I'm going to be following your tail lights, because I'm surprised you can see. But he went, he zoomed off into the distance. Honestly, he must have had x-ray vision, because I could not see. Once I got onto the motorway, it all cleared up, but I live in Bath, and it's in a bit of a dip, and as you're coming up to the, I don't live in a Bath, I live in Bath, and as you come up to the motorways, there's a bit of a dip, and there was loads of fog. I was a bit scared, but it was all fine after that. Anyway, enough about my journey. Let's have a look at what's on Sewing Street this morning. So 8 o'clock is Feeling Festive. I've got loads of different Christmas kits, books, fabric makes, because it's only the 8th of November. Still plenty of time. I'm still making my Christmas stuff. In fact, not even halfway through it. 9 o'clock. We have got one of the winners of the Great British Make-Off. Now, I'm sure you've all seen us talking about this on air, advertising it on our fan page. So Debbie Harris is with us, who is one of the winners, and as promised, we have made her design into a kit, which we're going to sell to you today, and she's here, she's ready to demonstrate it. So I've had a chat with her this morning. She's all prepared, all ready, bit nervous, but I've told her not to worry, it's all going to be good. So look forward to that, because it's really lovely to see one of our viewers, you know, realise their pattern, get it printed, get it made into a kit and on air. So you'll enjoy that. 10 o'clock, we've got cross stitch Woodland Animals with the Crafty Kit Company. I love cross stitch, and I was having a chat to Steph, who's demonstrating, and this is ideal for, well, if you love cross stitch and you just love the idea, it's perfect for you. It's also really good for beginners. The kits are written very much from a beginner's point of view, but these make really good gifts. So just remember, you know, if you know someone who wants to get into stitching, it's a really good idea, so they can get into that. 11 o'clock, we've got a really lovely hour full of needles and threads, in particular leather. We've got a lot of leather making, and we're going to be talking about all the different tips and techniques you need for that, and lots of goodies too. And then we've got 12 o'clock, we've got a yarn lane show, which clearly I'm very excited about, and it's needle felting. So this week we've done so many different things for you. We've done crochet, we've done tools and accessories, and now we're doing needle felting. Look, there's the robin and the gnomes. They are, I have to say, you shouldn't have a favourite, should you? But those gnomes are my favourite, although that snowman's quite cute, isn't he? So Steph is going to show us, if you've always ever fancied having a go at needle felting, she's going to show you exactly how to do it, even if you've never picked up a needle or a felt before. But if you have, these are really good makes. So I'm looking forward to that. So let's have a chat about shopping, because that's what we're here for. We love shopping. I did a bit of Christmas shopping in the car this morning when I was waiting for them to arrive at the studio. Oh, love Christmas, love shopping. I was early, so I was waiting. I thought, oh, I'll just get my phone. We love shopping. So if you want to shop with us today, you need to visit the website. Now, if you haven't been with us for a while, you won't know that we've got a brand new website, which is brilliant. Works really well. www.sewingstreet. Did I not say enough W's? 3 W's and a dot, sewingstreet.com. Anyway, if you want to watch us, if you're not watching us on Freeview or Sky, you can watch us live. You just click on the Watch Live button. From there, you can see, look, scrolling down, these are all the products that are on the show. There's still some on there that were on air yesterday, but all the ones for today are going on there. So anything that you want to buy for us, you can put into the search bar and just choose it, or, much easier, you just have a look below the watch button. So go onto the website, click watch live, and then below that are all the products that we'll be selling today. It just makes it simpler for you to shop. Remember, 12 o'clock when we magically become Yarn Lane, we have our own website, which is www.yarnlane.com. So if you want to shop on Yarn Lane, done in exactly the same way as Sewing Street, but on Yarn Lane. But the good thing is that if you shop on, it's only £3.95 P&P per day. Not per purchase, but per day. So whatever you buy from us today, you pay one postage, that's done. So if you've already popped the early bird into your basket, your P&P's done. P&P's free after that, because you've paid for that now. But if you also buy something on Yarn Lane, it is joined in together. So you only pay one P&P. So if you buy something at 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock, and then you buy something in Yarn Lane, it's still only one P&P because we are sisters. So we do share the P&P, which is brilliant. So start on sewingstreet.com, and then, well, we'll talk about it again at 12 o'clock when we move on to Yarn Lane, and then you can shop on Yarn Lane. Okay? So that's all the admin out of the way. So what shall we start with? Look at my Christmas goodies. So I'm going to start with this fabulous Christmas fat quarter pack. I'm just going to move these aside. Lovely. There are 5 fat quarters in here. I'm just going to take them out so you can see them. For anyone who doesn't know what a fat quarter is, it's half a metre or half a yard. This is American, so it's probably half a yard of fabric cut in half again. So 18 times 22 inches. So this is $14.99 for all of them, not just one of them, all of them. Really lovely quality cotton fabric, but it's quite a nice loose weave. I quite like this. Very good for Christmas make. So if you've got the Christmas stocking book, remember when we looked at the templates, you'd be able to make the front out of one of these and the back out of another. So if you've bought the Christmas stocking book, this fat quarter pack would be ideal to put with it. So you've got a really lovely Christmas floral. Then you've got a very traditional Christmas red and white spot. This is looking like a stocking already, isn't it? In fact, this is the cut, nice red and white stripes. So that would look lovely across the cuff. In fact, if you were making a patchwork stocking, these fabrics would look great together. And then you've got a wider one. God, that's making my eyes go funny. Whoa. This means at this price, it's less than £3 a fat quarter. It's extremely good value. Then you've got like a ticking stripe, and you can see it's not printed, it's a woven ticking. Really nice quality. That's lovely. That's a printed one, so that's more like a cotton drill look, but this is actually a woven one. And then you've got a really nice plain, but it's a woven plain, like it's cotton, but it's like a linen one, so you've got the sort of multicoloured effect. So look at those 5 fabrics together. That is your Christmas makes, isn't it? Make a stocking with it. Or it would be ideal, you could make lots of little gift tags. You could even use them to wrap your presents in. That would look lovely, wouldn't it? Give it a good press, and you can wrap your presents in them. And then anyone who's a sewer has a free piece of fabric, and if they're not, you can ask them if you can have it back when they've opened it. But it's lovely to wrap presents in fact, and this is very good value. So I've got another book here, Half Yard Christmas. Half Yard Christmas by Debbie Shaw. Lovely book. That's the Debbie Shaw. Debbie Shaw, our presenter Debbie Shaw. That is the one that works here, the famous Debbie Shaw. So there are lots and lots and lots of really lovely projects in here. We've got Rustic Christmas. It's divided into Christmas styles as well, depending on what style that you're going for this year. Scandinavian, traditional, monochrome, kids, or contemporary. Quite nice. You can make kids at Christmas. Lots of techniques, all the basic info that you need, all the different stitches, how to put tape on, bias strips, how to do free motion embroidery. And then when we look at this one, Rustic Christmas, this fat quarter pack that I've now got open would be ideal for this. Isn't that beautiful? So look at this advent calendar, plain linen fabric, and this kind of natural fabric. If you have a look on our website, we do plenty of this, various different shades and spots. But wouldn't these fabrics look lovely? If you bought a metre of calico, because actually you need a metre of calico for this, and then all of this fat quarter, you can make a beautiful advent calendar. In fact, that's a nice Sunday afternoon project, isn't it? That's what I would do on a Sunday afternoon. Beautiful toes. Bunting, again, calico in these fat quarters, candle pots. So this really is your rustic Christmas. I love the present sacks. I mean, and this book is using up all your stash, isn't it? Just little bits of fabric and ribbons and bows. I like the way she sort of frayed the hessian and put a heart on. That's such a good thing, isn't it? Because, you know, we're all into reusing, recycling, upcycling. But something like this, all you need is a piece of card, you know, tiny, tiny pieces of fabric, and you've got yourself a free gift tag. Love the string baubles. I'd like to have a go at that. You could buy some, these are using polystyrene balls, and you stick the string on, but you could just use plastic baubles that you don't like anymore. I've got loads of plastic baubles I don't really like. And you can just stick the string on, and they look really classy, don't they? Imagine what these would cost. You could buy some garden twine, use one of your old baubles, 50p, they'd cost you about £7.99 in the garden centre, wouldn't they? Like and it's nice, isn't it, to change things up. I always try and buy or make one new Christmas decoration every year, just because it's just nice. I like to bring out all the old stuff because it's lovely to have, you know, it's very nostalgic, isn't it? Things like the children have made or things you've collected years ago, but I always like to put one new thing in. So this year it could be you're going to make a wreath, and this is so simple. It's just a wire wreath from a florist, wrapped with some, is it hessian? Yes, I was wondering if it's hessian or burlap. No, it's hessian, or either. And then just some ribbon and then little presents. And Debbie showed you here about creating a little pile of presents. Well, that's such a lovely decoration. Couldn't you? You could use that to put on someone's present as a gift tag, a little pile of presents. Would look really nice, wouldn't it? All you need, I mean, it is really tiny, tiny little scraps of fabric and ribbon. Lovely. Then we move on to Scandinavian Christmas, and actually the colours in this are very similar to the ones in the rustic. So again, you could use this fat quarter pack. We've got little present cones, Christmas gnomes. Look at those. I love the Christmas gnomes because they've got string for their hair. Or is it all like piping cord? They're really sweet, aren't they? There's a scrap fabric wreath, so use up all your scraps. And you know, you don't have to use red and white. You could go Bollywood Christmas and use like lime green and fuchsia pink and purple and all different things. That's lovely, isn't it? A hanging hearts, another Christmas stocking. So much in this book. This is nice colourway. Look at that, really super bright. And then you move on, more Christmas stockings. So this is £11.99. Very, very good value for what you get in it. But this gift bag idea doesn't have to be for Christmas. You could use that for all year round. You could, well, in fact, you could use it for storage, couldn't you? I mean, it says, Debbie's put here, fill this bag with Christmas treats and then reuse it as a doorstop by popping in a bag of rice. Perfect. In fact, you could give it to someone as a doorstop, couldn't you? Oh, that's really nice. The mistletoe wreath. There is so much value in this. And what I like is there's some really basic, easy stuff like the scrap fabric wreath. It's very simple. But you've also got more tricky techniques. Like she's shown you in this one just how to insert a zip in the back of a cushion. And she's done it in a really good way where you sew the seam first and unpick it. And I love that way of inserting a zip because you always get a neat finish. Tree skirt. I like a tree skirt. We'll be talking about those in a minute. Monochrome Christmas. This is very classy, isn't it? But remember, you know, all of these, she's given you ideas of how you can use all these different things, but you don't have to use the fabric colours. You can use rustic colours in the Monochrome Christmas. So you are getting a lot of value for money in here. Good morning, Glenys. Good morning. Good morning, Fiona. Oh, I like that. Look, the Santa hat chair slip. So if you want to jolly up your kitchen chairs this Christmas, turn them into Santa's hats. There's so much in here. This is brilliant. Oh, I love the robin bunting. Very nice. Now, you obviously like this book. I like this book as well. I think I might just slip this one in my pocket to take home because I'd like to crack on with my Christmas sewing. But we're very limited now. So if you've got it in your basket, I would check out or get it in your basket quite quickly. This is very contemporary for all the modern people out there or anyone who wants to be modern. So it's all using the more modern colours. But, you know, change it up. You could be Nordic one year. You can be rustic the next. You can go contemporary. Look at these placemats all with free machine embroidery. Very lovely. I like the bottle cooler. That's nice. So anyway, there's absolutely loads in that book. I'll pop it back there. But very good value. So I'm just going to fold those out of the way. We'll just sort that out later. Yeah, I'll fold those up later. Oh, I love these. Now, unfortunately, they're not open. But they are now. I've got ladies. I've got all the ladies. Aren't they lovely? So how many do you get in here? 25. 25. And how much are they? How much are they? £2.99. Aren't they brilliant? So they're all little gingerbread. Do we do gingerbread men as well? There should be, Hannah's just said there should be a bag of men on the desk. Come out, where are you hiding? I can't, I think Hannah's run off with my bag of men. Oh, well, I can't see the bag of men. Okay, anyway, we've lost the men. Has anyone seen our men? Because we've only got the ladies. Anyway, you can choose between men and ladies. I thought they were. What have we done with the men? They'll turn up later and I'll show them to you. Anyway, they are really sweet. Let me put them in my hand so you can see how big they are. They're little, aren't they? Perfect for embellishing any of your Christmas makes. But you know what you could do, it's really sweet, is you could buy some card, make your own Christmas cards, just sew one of these to the front of it and just write Happy Christmas. Very, very simple, very classy. Just sew one to a, you know, you can buy those like parcel gift tags, very cheap from the post office because they're just brown with brown string. You could just sew one of these to the front of it and write the person's name. So at £2.99 for 25, that's not very much each. 25. Oh, yes, sorry, because one's in my pocket. So what's £2.99 divided by 25? Hannah's going to just work that out for me. It's too difficult. It's too early for me to work that out in my head. She's working that out. Yeah. How much is that? 11 pence. 11 pence for a gingerbread lady. Now, we do have gingerbread men as well, but somebody's run away with the men. But anyway, they're the same. They just don't have a dress. I hope they have trousers. They have little trousers. And they don't have a little heart. They have buttons. But hopefully we will find the men. Maybe they're on the floor. They're probably running around the studio somewhere looking for the ladies. I'm going to put the ladies back in the bag. Yeah, that'll scupper them, won't it? But these are perfect for £2.99. They are so sweet. I really, really want those. They're nice material as well. I mean, they are plastic, but they're not shiny. They're really matte, and they are the colour of gingerbread. Very simple, but just one of those really useful things to add to your stash. Oh, Debbie's book is about to sell out. So very, very quick. But look at that. That's 25 Christmas cards. Because you see these really classy contemporary Christmas cards where someone just sews a button on and writes Happy Christmas and then they charge you £3. But all you've got to do is go to a shop, buy the card, buy the envelopes, sew one of these to the front, write Happy Christmas, looks like you spent £3. And then write handmade by me on the back. Not me, you. Right, what should we do next? Let's do fabric because we're talking about makes. Now, these fabrics here are all available for either ½ metre. So if you want to make something really big, you can buy more than ½ metre. And remember, because we sell in 1/2 metre units, we cut to order. So if you want a metre, put 2 in your basket and we will cut you a metre. If you want 5 metres, write 10 in your basket and we will cut you a 5 metre length. So if you want to make something really big, you want to make a Christmas quilt, or you're thinking about making all your stockings in one fabric, or you want to make a tree skirt, these are for you. So I'm going to start with this one. Right, I'm going to start with this one. So this is your, this is for your real rustic Christmas. This is from the Annie Downs collection. This is a really lovely, warm, like a linen beige colour, and very classy. It's got little tiny holly sprigs in brown and cream with red berries. This is part of her 2020 Christmas collection, but it's beautiful, isn't it? And she designs for Henry Glass. And if you've ever bought or used Henry Glass fabric, you will know what a good quality is. It's got, I don't know what they do to the finish of it, but it's very soft. It's a normal quilting way, but it is very soft. It's just a lovely fabric. And I think this one here is the same. This is the same collection. Yes. So this one, which has got a really soft holly, it's like a soft holly green, like a sagey green, very soft, called Green Stars, but they actually go really well together. So if you wanted to make something a bit Christmassy, a bit rustic, like you wanted to do a rustic wreath or a rustic stocking, these fabrics are actually absolutely perfect for those. But they just feel very, very soft. They're lovely. So that's those two. I've also got, right, let's go. Oh, I can't move on. We're going to carry on talking about this one. But that's just a really nice fabric, isn't it? So these two work really well together. Obviously, you can buy them on their own by the 1/2 metre. That's up to you. But you can, they do go really, really well together. Right, so I'm going to go Beaver now. Right, it's an interesting concept. It's Christmas Beaver. Now, is a beaver Christmassy? There's a question. Well, why not? Everyone's allowed to enjoy Christmas, whether you're a beaver or an otter or a child. Doesn't matter. Well, everyone can have Christmas. Love this beaver. He's got really goofy teeth. And he's got a little Christmas hat on. So this is so cute, isn't it? Again, this is a Henry Glass fabric, so it's a really good quality. It's got like a gingham check background, but it's just really fun. Say if you want to make some little gift bags, or perfect for fussy cutting. If you want to do some EPP, you could put the beaver right in the centre of it. Or, you know, you could bond a web to the back of these and cut them out for applique. It's just a really fun Christmas fabric, just a little bit unusual. So if you're an animal lover or a beaver lover, this is perfect for you. A beaver lover. I'm sure there's probably beaverlovers.com. You never know. Might be a big thing. I like otters myself, if I had to choose. Morning, Alison and June. So this one is called Timbernomies. No, this is in the part of the same collection. It's a really lovely Christmas red. It's a real orangey red, like a tomato red rather than a bluey red, with all these really lovely snowflakes. So you've got like a beige one, a white one, and a black one. All different snowflakes on here. It's lovely, isn't it? But that's very, very Christmassy. But it goes very well with the beavers. They're lovely, aren't they? But again, you know, buy it by the quantity if you want to make something larger. Like, say you just fancy just having a little splash of colour and updating your living room this Christmas. You don't want to put too many decorations in it. If you buy 1/2 metre, that's enough for the front and the back of a cushion, or enough for 2 cushions if you use your own fabric for the back. All you need then is a zip. If you want, you could put some wadding behind it, quilt it. You could just quilt around the snowflakes, and then suddenly you've got with half a metre, you've got 2 cushions, quickly bright up your living room. So it's a really nice, it's also good for Christmas gift bags and placemats. So I'm just going to fold that up. Right, so we've got some kits for you now. Let me just move my fabrics. So this is Victoria Pete's FPP foundation paper piecing kits to make the Nutcracker and the Nutcracker mouse. They're lovely, aren't they? Really, really lovely. Now, I've known Victoria for a long time, and she is, oh, she's the queen of FPP. She's absolutely brilliant at it, but she's also brilliant at writing instructions. And I know she spent quite a long time on these, working out the best way of doing it. So in the kit, you've got her full, the Nutcracker and the mouse, not the Nutcracker mouse, the Mouse King instructions. And everything is in here, and I know she's really thought it through, because I followed her quite a lot when she was creating these and asking people, how would you prefer to have them? Do you want colour? Do you want black and white? But they really, really do make sense. So if you haven't tried FPP before and have had a think you'd like to, FPP is basically you sew through the fabric and the paper, so you get absolutely accurate piecing. You don't have to match things up because you sew through the paper, so you sew through the paper and the fabric on your machines absolutely fine. When you finish, you rip all the paper away and you are left with a beautifully pieced thing. So if you find when you're doing patchwork and you're sewing things together it's really hard to match it up, FPP's for you. So all the instructions are in here. It's really clear, really easy to understand. She even explains how to attach the piping. All of the colours, or everything is colour coded for you. So in the kit for £29.99 you get all these brilliant instructions which are very good. You also get the fabric to make both, enough fabric to make the both. So I think this is the mouse because he's grey and purple, and that's his colour. No, this is a mixture because, and there's the colours. No, this is a mixture of all of them because that's the flesh colour for the Nutcracker. So these are all the fabrics that you get, and there's exactly the right amounts to make the whole design. Look at all that. So for only £29.99 you get a metre of the red, which will make cushions. And you know, the hard thing often with these things is having exactly the right shades, particularly the skin tones, because you need the pale pink for the mouse for his ears, but you also need the flesh colour for the Nutcracker. So you've got all exactly the right colours in here and the instructions. So if you've always wanted to have a go at FPP, or again, what a fun set of cushions to make for your living room. There is also a tutorial to make these. If you go onto YouTube and search Sewing Street, and so if you put on YouTube Sewing Street Victoria Pete, it will come up with a video of exactly how to do this. So if you buy the kit and you want to see it all demonstrated and shown how to do it, then go on to there. But this is, I mean, they would make lovely presents to give to someone, obviously. I mean, who wouldn't want one of these on Christmas Day? I mean, they are stunning and they look like works of art. But if you follow the instructions and you do it properly, it's not as difficult as it sounds. I used to be really scared of FPP. When we were on Sewing Quarter, we had loads of lovely guests who did it. I went, I can't do that. Really, really can't do it. But it is actually quite simple. So we're just going to show you a little bit of Victoria's tutorial. So we've gone onto YouTube and we've put in Sewing Street Victoria Pete. Oh, we've highlighted the tutorial for you, so you don't have to search for it. It'll be on the website in a second. But you know, normally with a class like that, that's what you would normally pay extra for. That you would, if you bought something on Etsy or something, you might pay extra for the tutorial. But we're giving it to you for free. Obviously, you need the kit and the instructions. But the good thing about this is that you can, you know, stop it, fast forward it, rewind it. See, but she explains completely. So when you buy the kit, you've got the whole tutorial as well on YouTube to follow, which is fantastic, isn't it? These would be a great Christmas make for your home, but a lovely thing. And you've got two. So you can make one for, you've got two different people. Now, unfortunately, we've got less than 20 of these available. So if you want one, then you need to get one now. I was just looking on the back because it also tells you if you want to make any more, once you've got the instructions, if you made them and you love them, it actually tells you exactly how much and what colours to buy if you want to make some more. So Victoria really, really has thought about everything. But they're just lovely, aren't they? I mean, they're not massively Christmas. You know, if you gave them to somebody as a present, particularly, you know, child, they'd look great on a child's bed, wouldn't they? Or on the chair. So they don't have to be Christmassy. But what I love about them is I know the instructions are great, but because of all the different fabrics, and you really do need these specific colours, it's all there for you in one place. And often you want to make an exact replica of what you see. Well, you know that if you do this, it will be the same. And also, by the time you finish making these, you will be an FPP expert. So follow the YouTube and you'll see exactly how to do it. So get that in your basket quite quickly because we're in the teens now. We are going to sell out of that one. So I will put that to one side. What should we move on to next? So we've also got some kits. There we go. We've got Alison Marion's Christmas tree skirt. We've got two of them, two different varieties. Now she sent us a picture. She's just sent this morning, just as this is where she's got to. So this is taken on her kitchen table. Well, no, it can't be our kitchen table. It won't be that, but she's taken them on the floor. These are the photos of the two tree skirts you have. Not completely finished, but it shows the fabrics together. There we go. So we've got the gingerbread and the penguin. Now, I'm going to start with the penguin. Now, I looked at these because I demonstrated these on there the other day. They're actually really good. The instructions are really easy to understand. Well, you know Alison Marion. You know, she's on air with us all the time. She's brilliant. And she makes great cakes too. She made us a cake for the launch of Yarn Lane. It was a big yellow bobble hat. It was beautiful. Thank you very much, Alison. I actually had two pieces. Don't tell anyone, but I had two pieces. And then everyone went, God, that cake went quickly. I went, I know, it's awful, isn't it? But there was one bit I ate when nobody was looking, so they didn't know. But it was very, very nice cake. Anyway, in the instructions, everything you need to know, exactly how to do it, all with photographs as well. In the kit, you get all the fabrics. So this is the penguin one. So you get a red star fabric. You get this fabric with a navy background that's got penguins and reindeers on it. You get green Christmas trees. And you get the plain green fabric that's used for the binding and the backing. And you also get the wadding. Now, I love Christmas tree skirts because often you get your Christmas tree base and it's not always massively attractive. This covers it up, but what I like most about skirts is that once you put it around your tree, you can then lay your presents on it. So it looks really Christmassy because it's always nice when you start putting the presents under the tree. And it's also one of those real heirloom makes that you bring out every year. Go, oh, where's the Christmas tree skirt? It's a bit like, where's the toilet seat cover? Because I've got, I have a Christmas toilet seat cover. Love it. I absolutely love it. It covers the toilet seat lid, but there's also the pedestal mat as well. And it's, I do have a toilet seat cover and I love it. And I think it's a reindeer. So it's got like the reindeer's head on the toilet seat cover and the feet. I do put it in the wash at the end of Christmas before I put it back in the loft because I have got boys in my house. And anyone who's got boys in their house, you know what I mean. But Christmas tree skirts are just like Christmas tree toilet seat covers. Bring them out every year, only these are much more attractive. And, you know, it's just a really nice thing. And if you buy it now, they're not massively complicated. There is more than enough time for you to make it for yourself in time for putting up the Christmas tree, or make it for someone else to put up for theirs, or make it for someone, or give it to someone as a Christmas present, someone who you know likes quilting. They've got then the whole year to make it. So this one is called Gingerbread. Now look at the fabrics in here. You've got gingerbread men with metallic gold stars. You've got holly, that's on a grey background, and that's got a metallic edging around the holly. You've got lovely white, that's a white background with silver stars, and then you've got the plain red that's used for the backing and the binding. So that one is called, what is that one called? This is called Gingerbread because of the gingerbread men. So you get that will all make the Christmas tree skirt, and obviously this one has the wadding as well, and it all comes in the box. So if you make it for somebody, you've got the box. You can use the box to wrap it in, which is always useful, isn't it? That's a really, really nice make, because I showed it the other day, and it is actually quite simple to put together. And because the way that it's made, it has a slit in it, and a hole in the middle, so you can wrap it around your tree. So which means it will fit any tree. So if your Christmas tree base is bigger or smaller, you can overlap it at the back a bit or open it out. So it will fit any size tree, unless you've got a massive, massive trunk, and then you have to cut a bigger hole. So this kit is by the Leicestershire Craft Centre, who is Catherine Wright. So this makes the Christmas table set. It did say, because I read this earlier, how many? 6. It makes 6 stylish placemats, as you can see in the picture, and coasters. So obviously you've got all of the instructions. They are very comprehensive. You've got all the walkthrough photos, everything you need to do it. You've got a nice picture there, because I always like that. It's things like that. Sometimes if I have a picture I'll have my laptop next to the sewing machine, because I can see it online, so I want to see it. So that's really nice, particularly because all of these are sewn on with free motion embroidery. You can put the picture next to your sewing machine. It's got all the templates on the back, so trace over them if you don't want to cut them out. So you've got them there, all the templates. She explains exactly how to do it, and then how to bind the edges, and how to finish it all off. Also a few tips for machine embroidery as well. And then in the kit you get the red fabric, which is used for all the binding and backing, and then you get and then white fabric that's used for the base. But then you get these 3 fabrics that are all metallic. So this is a red one with gold metallic holly leaves, and then green with tiny, I thought that, yeah, tiny little spots, almost like stars. Really lovely fabric with a really lovely sort of evergreen Christmas green behind. And then you've got this one that's like a green poinsettia. That's a lovely fabric, isn't it? Should we open that one out? That's really nice, isn't it? So again, they're all gold metallic, so very, very Christmassy. So if you want to jazz up your Christmas table, 6 placemats, coasters, done. If you've not tried free machine embroidery before, Catherine puts lots of information, tips and techniques of how to do it. So let me just pack that one all back together. Right, so we're going to, I've got a lovely advent calendar next, which I've not really seen one that's exactly like this before. Right. Now this is I like this advent calendar. How have I turned it around? So you get felt for the background, and then you get this printed ribbon. So it's like a grosgrain ribbon. It's like a grosgrain ribbon printed with all the numbers. And I like the fact they've added the dowel. Often one of those things when you make a wall hanging or an advent calendar and it says hang it up. Where am I going to get that from? But the dowel is in there and the string. And all the instructions about doing it. So basically you cut out the pieces of ribbon, sew them to the felt. The ribbon are the pockets, so you just cut them out and then you sew them around the line, around the 3 sides, and then you sew into the felt, you turn the top of the felt over, make a casing. So really, really good make. Brilliant if you want to do a bit of Christmas stitching with the children. Very quick make, so you definitely enough time. £4.99. Does that say £4.99? That is extremely good value. You could make loads of these. So you could make them, fill them with some sweets, and you know, there's enough room to put. I think you could probably get one of those chocolates that come in the boxes. Many different varieties available. But like the ones that come in boxes, you get one of those in a couple of chocolate coins. But lovely to give it to somebody filled as well, isn't it? Or even yourself. Make your own advent calendar. Why should it all be just for the children? Fill it yourself. You could probably get miniature bottles of gin in there, just the bottom of them. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Just little miniature bottles. Yes. So that's a really good kit for £4.99. Everything you needed in there. It's worth it just for the dowel, to be honest. But I like the ribbon. I think the ribbon's a really clever idea because when you cut it, it's not going to fray. So that's the advent calendar. Now, I want to show you some lighting. So I'm going to just move to the other desk. One moment. One moment. One moment. Look at that. Magic. That's magic, isn't it? Now, obviously, things are getting darker, aren't they? I'm noticing now it's like 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. And it's getting dark. I mean, how did that happen? I'm sure it was summer. And then it's suddenly 5 o'clock and I'm having to pull the curtains. And then this is when you really need some lighting. Now, I'm going to show you this one first because this is super multi-purpose. Now, this can be clamped onto the table. It comes with the clamp here, look. So you clamp it to your table. Any size table will do. And then you can tighten it up. So clamp it onto the table, there we go. Then you pop the lamp inside and then you screw it up. So tighten it up and then you can move it. As you can see, there is no cable, but you can plug it in. So it's rechargeable. This is brilliant. The brilliant thing is that it's rechargeable, so you can plug it in and use it if you're sitting near a socket. But if you're not sitting in near a socket because you're in your mobile home or your caravan or you're going on holiday and you need some extra light, or you're sitting somewhere in the living room where the socket's too far, not close, this is rechargeable. Now it comes with the plug and it comes with the cable so that you can plug it in. That all comes in the box, so it's all in there. I'm just going to take it out of its clamp. It also comes, you could use it, let me just undo this. It comes with this stand, and this is really heavy. It's like one of those patio umbrella stands. It's very heavy. So you can use it on the table. So if you find when you're using your sewing machine or you're doing some cutting that what you're looking at isn't light enough, you can use it with here. I'm going to show you how it works in a minute. But if you want it as a standard lamp, then you undo this, you pop it in the top, which is this end. And then it's too tall, it's too tall. So now it's a floor lamp, you see. So look at that, it's now a floor lamp. Okay, so now I've shown you all the amazing multi-purpose uses of it and what you can do. This is the best bit about it. You can turn it on here. I'll turn it over and you can see. Or you could just bend the neck, yes. So you can have, you see the yellow, that's warm. So that's your normal light. That's the normal light that you would have in your room. But you can also go white. Now white is daylight. Now the great thing about the daylight is if you're trying to choose colours or colour match, you need that daylight. It's a bit like this morning I was trying to decide whether I had black tights and navy tights, and I had honestly no idea which were which because I was in artificial light. And that's why you need daylight. But when you're trying to check colours and see if things go together, they look completely different in artificial light. But this light will give you daylight. So it gives you normal light, it gives you daylight, but it also gives you different levels of brightness. So you might want it super bright when you're looking at some colours and not quite so bright when you're stitching. But this is the clever thing. It's a magnifier. So you put this on the table next to you, and instead of having to wear your glasses, look at that. Let's get this book. Let's get this book. So you put the book underneath. Look at that. Look at that. That's amazing, isn't it? So it can be a standard lamp. It can be a table lamp. It can be a clip onto the edge of a table lamp. It is a magnifier. It's got 3 levels of brightness. It can be daylight or it can be natural light, artificial light. And it's rechargeable and it's mains powered. Now, it's only $73.99 with us. Now, we've just checked a price comparison on same lamp. It's exactly the same lamp, exactly the same. The packaging is slightly different. Exactly the same. £103.99. And they've only got one. Yes, that's no good, is it? So back to us, $73.99. So it does so many things. So if you find that you struggle with the lighting, because sometimes, you know, when you're sitting watching the telly and you're sewing, you don't want to have the big main living room lamps on. It's too much, isn't it? But you can't see well enough to sew. So if I'm doing embroidery, I always have to have the big lights on. And then my husband goes, oh, can we not have those big lights on? Well, I can't see properly, so I need to. But with one of these, you see, you can just have this next to you. You don't have to have the big lights on. You can just use this instead, which is a lot better. But also, I often don't do machine sewing in the evening, just because although my sewing machine has perfectly adequate lights, quite a good machine, so with good lights, but it's not as bright. It's not as easy to see. So, but with one of these, there's so many products today that I'd actually quite like to take home with me. I could clamp this to the side of my desk, and you know, and the best thing is I could angle this down, so when I come to threading the machine, I have to change glasses now. I have special free motion embroidery glasses, which are super strength that make me feel a bit sick when I look up. But it means I can thread the needle and I can really see. But with a magnifier like this, you could really see a lot more. Fantastic. So we found another example which is more affordable than the other example, but still more expensive than ours. And that was reduced from 104. So for $73.99, you can see that we're giving you a good price. We have had a look round and we've made sure that we're giving you a good value. But for this time of year, this lamp is, you know, of all the different features it's got in it, I would say this is one of your best buys. I think I would use it in the living room on the base, so I didn't have to put the big lights on. But I use it particularly because I can clamp it to the desk. I could have it by the side of my sewing machine. That's what I'd use. And it's quite nice, isn't it, that it is rechargeable and that it's wireless, cableless, because you're not always sitting next to a socket, or you've got your machine plugged into that socket, or someone else is you into that socket. We often have an extension lead in our living room, which I always find lying across the middle of the settee because someone's sitting there and they've got all different things. But it's quite nice to have this, that it's rechargeable. So I'm going to, and it doesn't get hot, which is more important. So I was going to put it in its stand. I'm going to put it in its stand because it's a bit unwieldy now. So let's put it in here. Look at that. I mean, you have a look, you know, just show to prove that. So look, so say you're doing some sewing, you can have it on your lap. You could be sewing here. God, my hands are massive. Whoa! Knitting, crochet, perfect. And then you don't have to have those extra special free motion embroidery glasses like I do. But this is a great present as well. I know I keep saying that. Maybe I'm just in Christmas present thinking mode. I'm not really massively in the shopping mood. I'm in the thinking mood. But when you're in that kind of mood, then this is ideal because it's perfect for lots of people. Lots of people. Because it's nice. I like that because the lights make a big difference. The lights, sadly, on air, because we've got lights on already, don't really show. And I don't think they'll let me turn all the studio lights off so you can see. Does make you look like you have sausage fingers though. Just saying. But oh my Lord, it's so much easier to read this book now. I almost have to close one eye. In fact, I wonder if I can read this book without my glasses now. Oh wow, that's amazing. It might not work for you, but this works amazingly for me. I just little bit more awkward than wearing a pair of glasses all the time, but you know, fantastic. And it does come with the cloth. So all the bits that I've shown you, they're not extras. They all come in the box. So you do get the very heavy, like patio umbrella weight stand, so it's not going to topple over. You do get the extension, so you can turn it into a table lamp, and you get the clip, and you also get the plug. And remember, it's very efficient with energy because it's LED, so it won't get hot because the lights are on. They're not hot at all. Now, we have only got a few left of these. So I mean, they are always very popular because I think you all know what the prices are. You all have a look around, and it is brilliant for this time of year. So we are down to single figures of these. So if you do want one, put it in your basket and remember to check out. And remember, it's only £3.95 postage. So it will cost us more because this is actually quite heavy. Because it will actually cost us more to post out than £3.95 because this is quite heavy. Maybe Neil will hand deliver it to your door for you. No, he won't. But let's promise he will. No, let's not. I'll get in trouble if I promise that Neil will be around your house. Now, this is another lamp, and I particularly like this one. I chose this one today because I used to have this on my desk. I think when we first had it delivered to the office, someone said, "Oh, do you want to have a go with this?" And then I kept it. But it's lovely. So, look at that. Now, by the same company, so I need to move it over here. On, off. I mean, it's simple. There's nothing fancy about this one. It's on and off. But this is your desk lamp. Again, it's LED, so it's not hot at all. Actually, you can see the light better on this now. Look. This isn't rechargeable, but it does come with the plug to plug it in. Just on and off. There's 2 holes to put your scissors in, or your pens, or your glue pen, or your stitch ripper, whatever you want to put in there, and then a tray here. So this is a really good one. Yeah, I mean, could use for an office. It doesn't have to be for sewing, but you could have it on your sewing table. It does angle, so you could have it angled towards if you know what you're actually sewing. If you need a little bit more light on your machine, you can lower it. Perfect for the desk, but it is very useful. It's just a really lovely £16.99, a really good price for a nice lamp. Look at that, even goes up and down. Look. So very adjustable, and it's just simple. On, oh, look at that, just does the job. On, off, but I said it backwards, didn't I? Well, I couldn't see the look. Off, on, perfect. So that works. But I had this on my desk for quite a long time, and it's a really good lamp. So in the winter, when it was starting to get dark, 3 o'clock, on came the lamp. Very nice. Should we turn it off? So we are going to, oh God, it's 9 o'clock. Where did the time go? So we have got for the next show, 9 o'clock. Like, let me get the bag. Oh. No, I was just looking at it. It's very nice. Very nice bag. Look at this. Let me just move the lamp out of the way. There we go. Right. So this is the bag made by Debbie Harris, who is one of our Great British Make Off winners. It's about to go on to pre-order. There are 2 different colourways available for you to buy, and the instructions. There's Debbie. That's a photo of Debbie. It's not actually Debbie. Debbie's waiting outside, ready to come on air. Beautiful bag. We've talked through how she's going to do it. It's got a magnetic clasp. It's got webbing. It's got a lovely inset panel. It's just a really, really, really useful tote bag. Anyway, just going to tidy up, make a cup of tea, and we'll be back in about 3 minutes with Debbie. So don't go anywhere, and you just watch how to make her tote bag.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page.
Hi, I'm Debbie Shaw from Sewing Street, and these are my 5 top tips for successful sewing. So, number 1, always use a good quality thread. A good quality thread will keep your seams stronger and also help to prevent lint building up inside your sewing machine. Tip number 2, if your project isn't going quite according to plan, put it down, walk away from it, come back again the next day and you'll probably find that things don't seem half as bad as they did. My tip number 3, never throw away your sewing machine manual, always keep it to hand because you're going to find hints and tips, techniques and troubleshooting in that manual. You'll miss it if you lose it. My tip number 4 is to read your pattern instructions before you even cut out your fabric. Different manufacturers of patterns will give you different instructions, different ways of constructing your garments and different seam allowances. So to have a successful garment, you need to follow the instructions precisely. And then tip number 5 is don't give up. Every professional sewer sewed their first seam. Every professional quilter quilted their first quilt. Every professional quilter sewed their first line of wonky stitches and had to get out the quick and pick. That's no different to you. So I hope you find these useful. If you want more hints and tips, then why not go to Sewing Street on channel 74 on Freeview, on Sky 670, and of course we have a YouTube channel where you can catch up on previous demonstrations. We'll see you soon.
Hi, I'm Sam from Adventures in Crafting. I'm a craft and crochet teacher based in Tring in Hertfordshire. Since lockdown, I've moved all of my classes onto Zoom, so I now have customers from all over the country. I teach lots of crafts, but crochet is my specialism. I became passionate about crochet when I was pregnant with my 4th child and in desperate need of some me time. Crochet became my sanctuary and I've crocheted every day since then. I'm a qualified teacher and 8 years ago I began teaching crochet. I love sharing my passion with other people. I design patterns, sell kits and teach lots of classes. My classes range from beginners to next steps, specific makes and clubs. I also like to design crochet alongs. My most recent one was my Autumn Granny Square crochet along, which resulted in me designing this allotment jumper, which I love to wear when I'm out gardening and looking after my chickens. My crochet tip for you is to enjoy it. Crochet should be about taking part in a hobby that brings you pleasure. My claim to fame is that I met Kirsty Alsop at the Handmade Fair and I gave her one of my crochet sunflower brooches. I'm so excited to be taking part in Yarn Lane and I hope you'll enjoy my demonstrations.
Have you heard about Yarn Lane, a TV show dedicated to knitting, crochet and all things yarn, bringing you demonstrations from our expert guests as well as the latest tools. Watch us on Freeview Channel 74, Sky Channel 670 or on our YouTube channel. And find out what's coming up on the show by following us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to our email newsletter or visit the programme guide on our website at www.yarnlane.com.
Hello, I'm Kerry from Living in Loveliness and I'm delighted to be part of the Sewing Street team. I'm based in Wolverhampton and I absolutely love working with fabulous fabrics. In particular, I love working with fat quarters and showing you how to get the most from your scraps. I love bringing communities of sewists together and encouraging people to sew for greater causes. Most recently, we have been sewing for our NHS and key workers. I look forward to bringing you hints, tips and techniques. I'll see you soon.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page. Have you heard about Yarn Lane, a TV show dedicated to knitting, crochet and all things yarn, bringing you demonstrations from our expert guests as well as the latest tools. Watch us on Freeview Channel 74, Sky Channel 670 or on our YouTube channel. And find out what's coming up on the show by following us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to our email newsletter or visit the programme guide on our website at www.yarnlane.com.
And welcome back to Sewing Street. Oh, so we've got Debbie. We were just saying Debbie or Deb. I'm going to call her Debbie. We've got Debbie with us, who is our Great British Make-Off winner. So, if you weren't aware of the Great British Make-Off, where have you been? But if you are aware of it, we asked all of you, would you like to have one of your designs made into a kit, and then you come on air, you demonstrate it, and we'll sell your kit? Well, with loads and loads of people applied, and we chose 3 winners, and Debbie's one of them, and we've got her on air today. So, before we meet her, let's have a look through the kits. So, these are, we've got two colourways. So, I'm going to start with this kit, which is this one here. Let me get you this one. Love this one. It's got a really lovely lilac canvas on the sides, and is this Tilde? It is, isn't it? A Tilde print on the front and the back, not just one. But it's really lovely, isn't it? It's a simple design. It's fairly simple to construct, but it actually doesn't look simple. It looks really, just looks very finished, doesn't it? I think it's by having this central panel gives it a little bit of interest, and the top stitching as well. But it's got the detail that I love. It's nicely lined. This one has a cushion in it to fill it out, but it's lined. Let me just take the filling out. So, and inside there's a pocket. So all the details, you see, you know that this has been made by a maker and somebody wants bags, don't you? Because that's what we want. We want a pocket, but we also want a clasp. We want to be able to close it. These things are important, and we want nice, strong straps. So that's why we chose Debbie as one of the winners, because it's a beautiful make, but it's simply styled. Oh, I can't even say that. Simply stylish. Simply stylish. So, in the kit, you get 2 pieces of webbing. They're both 1 metre long, 1 for each handle. You get the Tilde fabric, which is used, a fat quarter of the Tilde fabric, which is used for the front panel and the back panel. You get half a metre. Oh no, a fat quarter of this canvas. Now this is heavier weight. This isn't your normal quilting cotton. This is a heavier weight canvas because you need the strength and the structure for the bag, and that will do the front and the back of the bag. And then you get half a metre of Rose and Hubble spot. Now don't those colours go to the well? So you've got the purple that picks out this and that, and then you've got the blue that's echoed in that. So those colours go really well together. I do like a lined bag. If you get one, often the ones that you buy aren't lined, and they're just not as lovely. There's something really nice about it. And there's enough fabric as well, remember, to make the little pocket inside. Also, most importantly, you do get the instructions. Be very difficult otherwise. So we have created and printed these instructions for Debbie, for her Mabel and Deb tote. Mabel is Deb's cat. I did ask, who's Mabel? She's the cat, Debbie and the cat. So this is her tote. Look, all the instructions. She's got lovely step-by-step photos. Tells you everything you need. So if you want to make another one, it's got all the details of what you need. Tells you how to make it. Everything you need. There we go. Lovely set of instructions, and that obviously all works together with that. So that's one colourway. And then the colourway that I have here, now this is the one that Debbie's going to be using in her demo when we meet her in just a minute. These were put onto pre-order before Debbie came on air, and these are already selling. These are lovely, aren't they? So this features, is this a Tilde? A lovely Tilde fabric. Oh, that's nice. It says bird song on it. That's lovely with a little bird. I really like that fabric. It's got a really lovely soft teal background with hints of the pink and red and gold with it's like a display of flowers with a bird, and it says bird song. The canvas that goes either side of it, so there's enough there for the front panel, the back panel and the pocket. The canvas that goes on the front and the back, the navy, again a really nice weight canvas. Very classic. Don't they look lovely together? And then for the inside, got a grey and white spot, 1/2 metre of that. So that lines the whole bag. And the handles, I really like this webbing. This is very clever. So the webbing for this one, you get 2 metre lengths. Look how well it matches that fabric. It actually picks up all the colours in it. This bundle is now very, very limited. Obviously your most popular one, but it is lovely, isn't it? Very stylish, and you think, well, you'll see the whole thing. I'm just giving you a little taste because Deb's going to make it up. That's what it looks like together. Very stylish look. And I think it's nice as well when you get something like this in, like this webbing. It's quite an unusual one. It's not something that you will be able to see. So you are going to look very stylish. Great bag for you and your shopping. Very good bag as a gift to give to somebody. But equally, because you get the full instructions, it's a really good thing if you wanted to give somebody a sewing kit. And I think that's often one of the hardest things when you want to give someone a kit. It's buying sewing kits are often the trickiest things to buy when you're looking on different companies' websites. They'll do the patterns, they'll do the fabric, but not always the whole kit. So if you know somebody wants to get into sewing, this is a good present. Anyway, that's enough about the kits. This bundle, just saying, is on single figures. So, if you want this one, you need to get this in your basket very, very quickly and check out, because remember, until you've checked out, it's not yours. There are now more of these in the baskets than there are actually available. So, you can, because we are very limited on this, and we don't normally, I'm not really meant to do this, because it's normally the whole kit, but because you obviously really want this, we are going to sell the instructions on their own. The second bundle is about to sell out, so we don't normally do this, so it's Hannah's fault because she said I could if anyone's watching. Yeah, I'm a bit nervous of this, so if anyone's watching and we're not supposed to do this, it's Hannah's fault because she told me to, and definitely Paul's fault as well, but mostly not mine. But we are going to sell just the instructions on their own. So if you weren't lucky enough to get the kits, you can have the instructions, and as I said to you, it does tell you at the beginning exactly what you need to make each one. So if you want just the instructions to make this beautiful tote bag, $9.99, and they're yours. Because how many people? 30 people missed out on this first bundle who wanted it because they couldn't get it. Anyway, that's enough about kits. Let's meet Deb. Let's meet our winner.
Hi,
Welcome to Sewing Street.
Thank you. It's so lovely to be here.
Is it?
Yeah.
So, what made you apply to our competition then?
Just been doing lots of sewing over lockdown and thought I've got lots of products, make lots of different things. Thought, okay, I'll have a go.
So why the bag? What was the inspiration?
I wanted to make a panel tote bag that just had that bit of difference about it on the front, but like you say, not too difficult. And I just love fabric, so it's putting as many fabrics together as I can, really. Yeah, no, that's true. I guess it's a way of using a small amount of something you really love as well, isn't it? Yeah, and it will use up fat quarters, as you mentioned. Yeah. So you don't need lots and lots of each of the fabrics. So. And that's always good, isn't it? Because sometimes you don't want to use waste. No, it's not waste, isn't it? But you know, when you have, we all collect fabric, don't we? And sometimes I've got fabric I've had for years because I can't bear to use it. Yeah, yeah. It's ridiculous. It's cutting into it. I know. It's that cutting into it. But so this just uses a variety, and I love the polka dot and the floral and some plain. So it brings all the patterns together that I love. And it's, as you said, it's got the magnetic clasp, it's got an inside pocket. I like that. I do like the because things like that, they're really important, aren't they? Yeah. And I like the pocket. Yeah. Put your keys in. It's nice when you design your own bags, because you just design it how you want it. Exactly, I do. I always put a pocket in mine because that's really nice, isn't it? Yeah. But I do like the idea of the clasp as well. That's a good idea. It just keeps it that bit more secure. Yeah, yeah, and I guess you just, and you do need that, because otherwise you sort of chuck it in the car, don't you, and everything falls out. And you've got a button on yours. That's pretty. I like a button on everything I make. Do you? It's my signature button, so everything has a button on it. Oh, that's lovely. It comes from my love of buttons. Well, you can copy that. You could be signature button as well.
Yes, in fact, you could go signature gingerbread man. We still haven't. You haven't seen the men. Did you? Have you seen the men?
I saw them earlier. Yeah,
we've got the ladies.
Oh,
but we can't find the men.
Gingerbread lady. Oh, it must have been the ladies I saw then.
I don't know where they are. We had 25 ladies and 25 men, and we've lost the men.
Oh, well, they've probably gone backstage.
We'll ask Steph when she comes to the next house. She's seen the men. But I like the signature button. That's lovely,
yeah, it just finishes it off, and that's always the last thing that I put on.
Okay.
So it just, and I never know what button I'm going to put on until I've finished it. So I finished my product.
So you must have a big button collection.
I've got a big button collection. I've got a big drawer of buttons.
But you could sew them all the way down, couldn't you? It's lovely. But I like that.
Or make patterns with them. Yeah.
That's lovely, isn't it? I'd like to have. I don't have a signature something. That's a good idea. I'm going to have to think of something. Can't be button though, because that's yours.
No.
So where do we start then?
So to start with is as you say, the fabric for the centre panel, which I then interfaced just to bring it up to the same weight as the canvas.
We have got the interfacing available on the website. That's £3.99, so there it is on screen. So if you want to buy the there's a metre square of this, so there's loads more, because actually for this, you only need 12 by 31 inches. So if you haven't got any interfacing, £3.99, pop that in your basket, because that just helps to make the print fabric the same weight as the canvas. Yeah,
that's right. So that's just a case of popping the fabric with the interfacing on, ironing that on to make that the same weight.
Lovely.
And then it's sewing those three pieces together to make...
And is the front and back made in exactly the same way?
Front and back are made in exactly the same way. Yeah, so I've sewn those together to make the three panels, and then just top stitched.
And so do you press your seams open or to one side?
With this one, I've pressed the seams to one side. So especially if you're using a lighter coloured top fabric, then I would press the seams over to the dark side so you can't see it if the fabric's see-through.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter really, but I just felt that
I see what you mean.
It gave it a bit more structure.
It does. No, I like that, but I think because everyone has different ways of I mean, I tend to do it like you. Sometimes it's open, sometimes it's to one side, but it's nice to know why. Yeah.
One of the reasons that I pressed it to the side was when you top stitch here, then you can... This top stitch holds it down.
Yeah, no, this is all
so it just makes it nice and flat.
Well, because it feels, I mean, it does feel very good quality, and I think it's those little touches, isn't it?
Yeah, that it just gives it that.
So I guess you could use a decorative stitch.
Yeah.
If you had fancy
ones.
You
could do zigzag stitch or...
Well, a lot of people have sewing machines with, all these sort of 500 stitches
that
they
you
never use.
never really get
But you could.
Use. Yes, yeah.
I've got one with rows of cars on. I'm not sure when I'm ever going to use that.
Oh, mine's not that fancy. But I have got roses and petals and So you could do any type of stitch across there.
Lovely.
So that just top stitches it and, as we say, secures the interfacing.
Okay.
So then on for the lining, which is my grey spotty fabric, so that's cut to exactly the same size. Now on the pattern, I've given that a size, but when I'm cutting them out, I always sew these three panels together and then use that as a template on my lining fabric, so I can just cut exactly around the same size.
Oh, okay.
That's how I do it. And then with the lining, I then put the pocket on. So I was going to do that for us today.
Yes, show us how to do a pocket.
So the pocket, once you've cut the material out to the right size, I've already sewn around the edge.
There's enough in the kit?
There's enough in the kit to make the centre panel and the pocket. So I've lined the pocket. Again, it just gives it that extra strength. And
yes, because I guess you don't have to, but it wouldn't be as nice if you didn't.
No, and it just gives it that extra weight.
Turn it inside out. It's now a reversible bag.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a reversible bag.
It could be, couldn't it? No, reversible with the pocket on the outside. But look, but you can see better now. That's what the pocket looks like.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you could also, with the pocket, stitch up the centre of the pocket or to one side.
Oh, okay.
So you could make two. You could put your phone in one, lippy in the other, keys.
Yes.
So to make the pocket, I cut out the fabric and sewed that around the edge, right sides together, and then I'm just going to turn that out. I'll cut off those edges actually, the corners, just so that it takes the bulk out the seam when I turn it round. And I'll just turn that round, inside out or right side out. And there's my pocket.
So you just use something pokey?
Yeah, I've just got my pokey tool, because even then you have to be quite gentle that it doesn't poke through the corners. So that's just come a little bit undone on the corner. But when normally I just leave 2 to 3 inch opening area there, and then when you pull the fabric together, it just automatically brings that seam into
that's good.
one.
Yeah, yes.
So I'll move that top panel out of the way. So when I place the pocket...
what do you press that?
I'm going to press that now.
Okay.
So I like to press everything to give it that...
Yeah, absolutely.
Finished.
Yeah, it is.
Crisp
I
edge,
was
doesn't it?
so impressed.
Yeah,
that's
so
why
impressed.
I quite like. You can get the little mini irons. I don't know whether we've still got any of those. We do have them on stock, so they are on the website. But I like to have one of those by my sewing machine.
Yeah.
And then you don't even have to move then.
No, it's always on.
Always.
So
I have my own ironing board just for sewing, so it can't ever go anywhere else. But it is nice. I mean, if I'm getting up to do a lot of pressing, I'll get up to the bit to have a little board and a small one.
It's just handy, isn't it?
Because you get a better finish.
That's
lovely.
So
how do you decide where the pocket goes?
So the pocket goes in the centre of the bag. So to find the centre of the lining, the easiest way is just to fold the piece of material in half, just finger press it down. So that gives you the centre. And then I put this about 4 inches down from the top of the bag.
Okay.
Because you need to leave a 1/4 inch seam allowance at the top, and then we're going to put the magnetic clasp.
So do you do that?
So I just leave about 4 inches down and in the centre, and then I would pin the pocket on just to secure it, and then I'll just sew around the edge. So
is this just a top stitch around the edge, nothing?
Yeah, I mean what you could do, and the one I've done there, I'll take those out actually, is just top stitch across the edge of that
oh, you've done a zigzag, that's quite nice.
So I did a zigzag on there, so we could do a zigzag now. So that will just do a top stitch.
So you do that before you sew it on, obviously?
Yes, so I'll do that first. So that just top stitches across the top of the pocket, just to give it that nice finished edge. Then I can pin it on to the bag as it was, onto the lining.
I noticed you're using applique scissors for cutting that. Why is that?
Yeah, I always use applique scissors, just because you can then get really close.
No, that's interesting. We had those on there the other day, and I was saying, well, I always use them for applique, but I've not used them for that's quite interesting.
Yeah, I always use. I mean, I find these they're
so
great,
instead of using like small scissors, you use applique scissors.
Yeah, because then you can get right under the.
Oh, that's nice. Have we got any applique scissors left? Hannah, producer, she's going to check.
They're perfect. They're perfect for the job.
Hannah, do we have any applique? No, I was talking the other day about all the things you can use them for, but I hadn't included trimming threads, so it's just quite interesting to see.
Because I just like them out of the way, and they just get right to the end, so you can cut them off.
Well, I've got them, and I never use them for that, so I shall.
Now you shall.
I shall. I've learned
Tip of the day.
I've definitely learned. I learn something every day when I'm on here, but that's a really good one, because I've even got some. I haven't got to pinch them.
No. So now I'm just going to secure the pocket onto the lining with. I'm just changing it to a straight stitch.
Right.
I'm just going to sew around the edge. And then make sure you keep the needle down at the corner, and then you can pivot around. Sewing along the bottom of the pocket now will also now
Oh, so that opening is at the bottom.
Yeah.
Right,
so
and that closes the opening.
and then that will secure that opening where I turned it through.
We have the scissors. We have the scissors. Thank you, producer Hannah.
Fabulous.
Look at that. Applique Scissors, $16.99. There we go. So if anybody hasn't got them like I have, that's a great idea.
And then you can just...
Oh yes, show us. Show us your scissors.
Off.
Look,
So
there they are in action.
So I can just trim it straight off where I finish sewing, and it just leaves a really neat edge.
Oh look, there you go. You can see them really close there.
Perfect.
Wow, brilliant tip.
Tip of the day.
That is definitely, because I don't use, well, I only use mine for applique, so I don't use them all the time, but I shall now be getting them out. All the time.
Yeah. So the pocket is now secure.
Yes, and that's why you sew it on before you put the lining in.
Yes.
So it can't be seen. So this is when you can sew the extra.
Yeah, you could sew at the centre, and then that would give you two pockets.
And if you wanted another one, I guess you could just use your own fabric.
Yeah, if you wanted to put one on the other side, or you could even, especially if you had more of the lining fabric, you could put a whole section on here to have a pocket for half the bag.
Yeah, that's true.
All sorts of different inserts, or a zip pocket.
Yeah, or you could have one across the whole width.
Yes, right across there to... Then you can put your iPad in, or your purse.
Oh, wow. So many different...
Just keeps you
organised. But like you say, you know, you make your bag for yourself, don't you?
Yeah.
With your own pockets, what you need.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I like about designing my own, that I can just put it wherever I want it.
So how long have you been designing projects for them?
Well, I've been sewing and knitting and
When
crocheting.
did you start sewing?
Oh, I was small.
Right.
Small. Used to make clothes and shoes and wigs out of wool, and always done some sort of craft, and then always knitted throughout my adult life, and only recently picked the sewing back up in lockdown.
Okay, oh really?
Yes, especially with I've done embroidery and cross stitch.
Yeah.
But I was after a sewing machine and was just kind of putting it off. Saw one on the market for £40, thought I'm having it. So got the machine.
Bargain?
And
what's it like?
It's a Singer.
Is it really good?
And it was okay.
Right.
But it wasn't what I wanted. I just sort of just to see if I actually needed a machine to justify it, really. So never came off it. Was on it all the time. So then upgraded to a nicer machine.
Okay. I think that's often people say to me, you know, what machine should I get for a beginner? I go, well, don't get a beginner one because it won't be long before you need...
No.
You're not an expert one, but just a decent one.
Yeah. And I'd heard that advice quite a lot, and I thought, oh, I won't. But yes, I've now got a bit of a collection. I've got two vintage machines as well. I've got 4 machines.
Wow! So you started sewing in March.
Yeah.
And you've now got 4 machines.
I've now got 4 machines. Yeah, there's one's called Pearl. She's the oldest, and then I have
Is she a singer?
Grandma. She's a singer. Pearl's a singer. Sorry.
Is she a hand one?
The hand crank one.
Oh, I've got a hand one, but it's been electrified. And I bought mine in lockdown as well.
Oh.
My old
Oh, they're
one.
lovely. Yeah.
I mean, I obviously had sewing machines before, and I do a lot of free motion embroidery, and I went on a free motion embroidery course, and it's much, much better with an old Singer. It's just the best thing.
Yeah.
So I went and bought one because of this course I went on. It just works better. You take the foot off completely. No
okay.
foot. And you need an old Singer, and it's just brilliant. So I treated myself in lockdown, and I absolutely love it. I've cleared a whole shelf.
For
it just sits on.
Yeah.
In all its beauty, and I love it.
Yeah, that's good, because I find with the newer machines, the free motion's quite tricky, isn't it?
But you use a really old Singer, and they're just amazing. You drop the feed dogs, take it all off, so it's just a needle. I mean, obviously it's a bit dangerous. Put it in a hoop, and
off you go.
Yeah.
I should try that. Yeah.
Had a message from Sally. Oh, she also picked up a sewing machine in lockdown. I mean, I was quite impressed. I bought one, but you bought 4. 4.
Yeah. If I do something, I do it.
Well, I guess you got the beginner one, and then you got the Singer one, and then you got the better one. Well, what's the 4th one?
So then I bought another old one, because I've got a store where I sell my items, and I wanted one for display. So I bought one for there.
Okay.
So she's on display there, Pearl. and then the other 2 are just on display at home, and then the one I use all the time is.
Well, that's amazing. So you started sewing properly in March, and now you're the winner, and you're on air. Whoa, that's an inspiration, isn't it? Look at that.
It's been quite a quick journey.
Next year. And you do crochet as well?
I do crochet.
Oh, good.
Yes,
I like crochet.
Yeah, I love crochet, and that's my thing really.
Is
it's just it's a knitting.
Okay, so you need to come onto Yarn Lane with me then.
Oh, I'd love to. Love to.
Come onto Yarn Lane with me.
It's just the wool, isn't it? It's the same with the fabric. It's just
that is the problem
addictive.
with yarn, isn't it? Is that it's just so especially when you get the hand dyed and you see it in hanks and it's all twisted. And
beautiful.
No idea what I'm going to knit with it.
But you have it anyway.
I need to have it.
Yeah. Lots.
Big when collection. You get yarn through the post, I like cotton as well. Cotton yarn. It all comes in all these colours.
Yeah, all the rainbow, and it all looks like the rainbow colours, and
Well,
so I'm just a collector, really. Of fabrics, wool, and sewing machines.
I know. Well, I think we all are, aren't we? But that's the problem with working here, though, is I keep seeing things. I think I love that. Luckily, I've already got one of these, and I've got some applique scissors.
Ah, yeah.
But I haven't got the gingerbread men or women, so I fancy them. In fact, you should have some of them for your button collection.
Yes, please. That'd be nice. I do collect buttons. Yeah.
So what do we do next?
So next, it's time to place the magnetic clasp. So for the magnetic clasp, I'm going to just put a little bit of reinforcement at the back of the magnetic clasp, because obviously you get a bit of stress as you're opening that up. And
does that have interfacing or just fabric?
I just use fabric. So I've cut 2 little squares of the lining fabric. I need a pen actually.
Behind.
Here we go.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to, these magnetic clasps, they're really good actually. They look a bit scary at first.
Have we got them on the website, producer Hannah? They're on the website. You don't have to put them in, but obviously this is something that Deborah puts in to, just secure it. It's optional, but if you want them, we do have them on the website.
So yeah, they look a bit scary, I think, before you start using them to actually put them in, but they're really easy. So I just, with the clasp, you get this little washer, I call it. So place that, I've already got the centre line for the bag, about 1.5 inches from the top. And you place that on, and then if you just mark those 2 areas there, then that is where you are going to cut the fabric. I'm going to place this reinforcing fabric on the back, so you can just see those lines. Just use my little sticky pen to put the fabric there, and that just reinforces that bit there.
Hannah's found the men. News. And she's found the gingerbread buttons as well. She's found the men. News flash.
Breaking news.
little joke.
So I'm just cutting through those marks that I made there for the magnetic clasp, and I'm going to put the thicker side. With the magnetic clasp, there's 2 sides to it, the thicker side and the thinner one. So I'm going to put the thicker one on the same side as the.
Look at those in a minute. Okay, so you stick it on with use a glue pen, but you could use interfacing, or
or you could just pin that on,
just
or
to hold it. So
I just think it reinforces.
Yeah, I guess because it is cotton fabric, and it could, when you're yanking it open.
It just makes that lining fabric that bit more. That doesn't want to cut through at the back. Just makes it stronger. That's it. So you pierce through. Make sure you pierce that interfacing part as well, which I've still not done. Oh, it has. And then that goes through, and then that little washer goes onto the back.
Nice.
A bit like a split pin. And then you just open that out.
So
so you just open out the pin.
Okay.
I always open it out that way so that it gives it, again, more strength to the sides.
Okay.
And that's it. That's the magnetic clasp on. So then I would do the same.
Yes, how do you measure? How do you get it in the same place then?
So with the good point. So it
because that's very annoying if it's not.
Yeah. So again, I've followed that centre line that I'd already finger creased for the pocket, and then 1.5 inches down from the top.
Okay. And that was the centre point, was it?
And that's the centre point.
So as long as you measure.
As long as you measure, that one's probably about 2 inches in actual fact. From the top.
Okay.
But yeah, as long as you measure the same point. So then with the other piece of lining, do exactly the same.
Right.
And
yeah, show us how that goes in.
so just finger
Because this is, I think, one of the tricky things that once it's in, you can't really, you've got
take
a hole,
time.
haven't you?
Yes, yeah.
I mean, you could put a little patch over it. It's
Yeah,
not the
or a
end of the
button.
world, or a button, but probably worth getting it right first time.
Yeah. So the other one I just did 2 inches down. So that's at this point, I'm just using the cutting mat to measure that.
Okay.
Down the centre line. Make sure that when you're putting I call it the washer, that centre point.
It is a washer.
Yeah.
I don't know what else it would be.
No. And then you just draw, or mark in those 2 edge parts there. Then I'm going to put the interface in, or the bit of lining, stick it on the back just to secure it whilst you make the holes in it. Make sure it sticks. And then using my quick unpick or scissors, and then just go through those marks, and then that just pierces the fabric. And then this time it's gone through the back. Put the magnetic clasp.
And I guess it doesn't matter which side's male, which side's female.
It doesn't really, no. I always put the female side on the side that the pocket is on. That's just...
Yes, so it's basically which side you have it hanging next to you, isn't it?
Yes. So that's how I always do it.
Would I put the pocket... Yeah, see, I'd have the pocket nearest me.
That's it.
I wouldn't have it away from me.
No.
I'm just going to try it and find out.
Model it for us.
Yeah, no, I'd have that there, because if I'd do that rather than that. Yeah, so you'd want the female that side so that the male's going into it.
That's how that makes sense to me, so that this side, as you say, will be closer to your body.
Yeah.
The female part.
Okay. But it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't really matter.
If you can't decide...
If you can't decide, it doesn't, so that's the lining prepared, and then obviously you'd have 2 of these. I'm just going to top stitch.
Earlier.
Oh
yeah, so how do you, if you've never top stitched before, what would you say to somebody?
So I always make the stitch length that bit longer for a top stitch,
okay,
because
like
it's not about 4.
Right. Oh, okay.
4. Just because it's not a holding seam, it's just for decorative purposes. So I would always just change the machine to, this is slightly different from my machine, but it is that one. And then just top stitch down that edge with a 1/4 inch seam allowance.
Okay.
Because then if you have not that you need the seam allowance for turning out, but then it just allows you to keep it even, so that when it's finished,
yes,
they're
that's
equal.
True. I know it's
it
something that people often a bit scared
symmetrical.
of getting it straight, but it's nice to use like you've used a contrast thread on this.
Yeah, so I've used a contrast thread as white, and because you've got the panel, you can just then put the sewing foot along that edge, so it helps keep it straight if your straight sewing is a little bit off. So I'll just top stitch down across there.
You've got 12 minutes left.
Gosh,
12 minutes.
time goes really quickly.
It's amazing. No, it's doing really well. It's really, you wouldn't know that this is Debbie's first time on air, would you? To be honest. She's very relaxed, very in control.
Oh.
She has her hands on shaking. I told you it was easy, didn't I?
You did, but that's from a professional.
I said it'd be easy, because you know what you're talking about. People always go, oh, it must be really scary. I said, well, I'm not asking you how to take apart an apple macaroon and do it.
Yeah, if you know your subjects, then...
If you know what you're talking about, I'm asking you questions that you know the answers to. So.
Yeah, don't ask me any difficult
Yes, how
ones.
does that sewing machine work exactly?
Yeah,
What's
I'm
the
not
motor
sure.
No, just I press the pedal.
Oh. So that's just a quick top stitch down the sides of the canvas panel, and then at this point we're just constructing the bag.
Okay.
So I'll start with this side. They're both exactly the same, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to place that on the mats just so I can gauge where to put the straps. So I'm going to put the blue side in the towards the centre of the bag.
It's a lovely strap.
It's beautiful. It's nice width as well.
I know, and it's just the colours.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
They look so nice, don't they?
That bundle has sold out. I'm really sorry. Really sorry. I know, but I always feel really bad when they sell out, because But remember, you can buy one time only, because we don't normally do this. You can buy the instructions on their own.
So with the handles, I've placed them.
Does it tell you in the instructions where to place them?
It does.
I'm not going to tell you because that's cheating.
They're normally, depending on the width of the handle, I would do it 2.5 inches from the side, but it's probably best to go from this, where you've top stitched, 1/4 of an inch either side of it.
Just so it looks nice.
Yes.
Yeah, so it looks even.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also that gap is enough to actually put the bag on your shoulder. Take one of the linings, make sure that your magnetic clasp is at the top, otherwise it will be upside down.
Oh, I've done that so many times. And done it twice. Have you ever done it where you've unpicked it and then done it again?
Yeah. So I'm just going to use these clips now because I find those easier, because I use the pin to just pin the strap to the bag.
Yeah, for that thickness.
But for that, you've got the thickness and then it really secures it. I might just put a pin in there. So I'm now going to sew along that edge to sandwich those straps in between the lining and the front panel. I always reverse stitch over, so I'd go over the strap.
Okay, just
and then reverse stitch to reinforce.
And then because you top stitch as well, so you've got like 3 layers of stitching holding those in, so they're not coming out.
They're really quite secure. And again, just go over this one. Ooh, reverse stitch. So that's nice and secure. So that's attached. So what that should look like, just so you know that you've got everything the right way around, is when you pull that apart, you've got the lining and then the front of the bag.
That's when you know whether you've got your strap in twisted or not.
Yeah, and of course make sure your strap's not twisted.
Yes.
So I'm going to do the same with the other side. So put the front of the bag or the back face down, face up, sorry. The strap, so we did the blue, didn't we, to the centre. So again, make sure it's not twisted. Pin that in place.
So you have the strap sticking out a little bit?
Yeah, I just leave them out just about 1/4 of an inch, just so that it, again, allows for any tension on that area. But as long as they're within the seam allowance and they're caught in the sewing.
It won't matter. Yeah, I guess it's
really
just if it frays, then you won't go down to the stitching.
Yeah, that's it. It just gives you that bit of leeway, doesn't it?
I've learned so many things. If you've not done much sewing, you'll have learned loads from this. This is a really good project for beginners or confident beginners, because you're learning lots of different techniques, magnetic clasp, pockets. So, you know, just the simple thing about sewing the straps in, doing the 2 lines of stitching, making them poke out a bit from the top. All of those things are things you learn by mistake.
Yeah, by not doing it on a previous bag.
And it pulling out because
thinking,
because with the webbing, with wear it can pull through the weaving of the webbing if you don't.
And these bags are great, aren't they, for going to the supermarket with, or just shopping on a daily basis.
I find these days as well, I often just pop out and all I want is sort of 3 items. I'm not always doing a big shop. And then you get to the supermarket, you haven't got a bag and you've got to carry a few things.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you're only buying things, so it's really nice to have one of these just for those odd shopping trips.
Yeah, and they're handy because you can fold them up and pop them in your handbag.
They're also a really nice way for gifts as well. If you buy somebody something, you can put it in a made tote bag. It looks amazing then, doesn't it?
I've made some smaller ones for Christmas to give presents in, so they're really nice. So now this is the final part of constructing the bag. So you've got 2 sides which look pretty much the same other than the pocket on one side. Make sure your handles are in the centre and out of the way. And then we're going to put the 2 panels right sides together. So put the lining parts together, and I'm going to pin that there, in this corner. But the most important part of this bag, or any bag if you're making a tote, is to secure this edge. So to make sure that the seams are matching.
Yes.
And you could either nest those that way so you know that they're together, so that when you turn it out, it's going to look all the way around, look seamless. So I'll put a clip there. I need a clip or pin.
That is beautifully matched, this one. Just a little look.
Thank you.
No, that matches really well.
It's just making sure they're matched, because that's you're going to see that as well, aren't you? That's the opening to the bag. So clip those together, and make sure when you leave your turning gap, we're leaving that on this bottom edge.
Okay.
I always put my pins that way in,
so
where I'm going to stop, because otherwise
you forget.
I can forget, and
then you have to
get carried away.
Sew it all the way around again.
Sew it all the way around. Think, how do I turn this bag the right way around? So I always start at that corner part. That's it.
So that you can...
So that I can make sure those seams are together. And then off we go. So then it's just sewing all the way around. 1/4 inch seam allowance. As I get to the corner, I'll just keep my needle, make sure the needle's in the down position, so that I can just pivot that corner. So needle down and then pivot the corner so you're not losing any traction on it. Again, make sure these seams for the front and back, they should be together at that point, so that they nest together nicely as well. So you've got it's seamless. What's the...
Yeah, so it's nice then at the bottom. Yeah, no, it does look. That's lovely that it just goes all the way round.
That's it.
I mean, it's not the end of the world, you know, no one's going to stop you in the supermarket and say they don't match up. So, you know, if you're a beginner and they don't match up, don't worry about it. But it's just one of those little things to try and pin them at that point, so it does help, but nobody will stop you. Stop and search.
No, it's not.
Seams don't match up.
It's not against the law.
Learn how to make the bag and get the sewing machine sewing straight first. If you are a beginner, and then these other things can come.
Yeah. So we're almost at the top of the back up to that centre point. Let's match together. You could always reverse stitch again over those parts, because that could be where the stress is when you're popping things in and out of your bag.
Yeah, so that's true.
So
yeah,
that would
just on that seam there. Mine's upside down now. There we go. Well, don't look at this one. Oh no, this is the one we still have some left of, isn't it? You can look at this one. No, you can look at this one. This one is the one we still have a few kits available of. So if you do want this one, $19.99 for all the fabric and the webbing and the instructions. Okay, but we have got just a few, not many. Nearly finished.
Yeah, so I've left the turning gap.
Okay.
Back in, back stitch there. And we've just got this last edge to do.
It's actually, well, I know you have pre-prepared quite a bit of it, but it is quite a quick make, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it is. I like a quick project because you get the end results quite quick,
and I guess, you know, once you've done the front, then the back, you think, oh, I've got that, and you know, it's a bit easier, isn't it?
Yeah, once you've done one.
At the beginning.
So before I turn it out, I'm going to cut off those corners just to take some bulk out of the seam. And then we're almost there. It's turning the bag out, the most exciting part.
We've done very well. We've got enough time to turn the bag out and show what it looks like. That's brilliant. Sometimes we just don't finish it. We haven't got time because we've been chatting, but done really well.
This is the,
It's
you just hope that all the everything's all right.
The first ever show I did for Sewing Board, I went, look at this, and it was wrong.
Oh.
I hadn't sewn it right sides together. It was really embarrassing.
It's so easily done though.
I know.
Making,
I think I had probably gasped sympathy from everyone watching because they've probably done the same. But
we've all done
I
it,
was
haven't we? It's so
mortified.
easy. And then, as you say, you tend to you can make that mistake again.
Yeah, easy, yes.
So I use my pointer tool again to get nice crisp corners. Oh. There we go. So that's the front. And then with the lining, you could hand sew to keep that edge where I've turned it out. You've obviously got this,
Oh, okay, now you've got a
the
hole.
turning gap. So you could just quickly stitch that down, or you could hand stitch it. So I'll just quickly run the machine across it to close that up. Hand stitching it just gives it that more finished look. But no one really
Yeah, but
looks,
it is right inside,
no
isn't
one
it?
looks inside the bag.
No, and it's more secure.
It's more secure. And then pop the lining inside the bag.
Look at that. And
And-
yes, it's really nice to see it fully made in
Yeah.
that colour. That's lovely.
And then I would normally, I don't know if I've got time to just top stitch around
It's
that.
lovely. So if you want,
edge.
do want to make your own because you've missed out on that colourway, you can just find something in your stash that's similar.
Yeah.
Have we got that webbing on its own? Do we sell the webbing on its own? Or did we? Producer Hannah's just checking for us.
So I'd just iron down the edge. And then you can also test
Oh,
to
yeah.
see if your
Test your
magnetic clasps.
I guess you could use a press fastener as well, couldn't you?
Yes.
Didn't have I love a
Yeah.
magnetic club, but we have got them on website. I usually try and buy 5 at a time, so I've always got one if I need one.
Yeah. I like to have, I like the magnetic clasp.
I don't think we have got the web. We used to. Okay, so we do have webbing on the website. If you are only buying the instructions because we've sold out, we do have webbing on the website. I'm not sure why thonging is coming on there, but we do have webbing on the website. Right, Debbie's just going to quickly show us the finished bag.
Yep. So I'll just iron over there. And then that's
And
the
then you would
finished
top
bag.
stitch around the top to finish.
I would top stitch around that edge,
Okay.
just to give it a finished
Lovely.
look.
Look at that.
And there's the finished bag.
That's amazing. That's your first show. You were brilliant.
Thank you very
You were
much.
brilliant. You will have to come back.
Oh, I'd love to. Thank
That was
you.
really good.
Thank
what a
you.
lovely
Loved
show.
it.
Thank you so much. You are a very worthy winner.
Oh, thank you.
But
Thank
we
you for
really
having me.
enjoyed it. It's been
Oh,
lovely.
it's amazing. Thank you.
Lovely. Okay. So if you do want to buy the kit that we have left, this is the one that I have here. The lilac one. So we have a fat quarter of the Tilda fabric. We've got a fat quarter of the lilac coloured, and it is lilac actually, I'd say. Not like super, super, super bright lilac, more of a muted dusty lilac. Fat quarter of that. We've got 1/2 metre of the blue and white spot line fabric, which is used for the lining. Oh, and the Tilda fabric is used for the panel, front and back panel and the pocket. We've got 2 1-metre lengths of the webbing, 1 for each handle. And obviously the full instructions, which give you everything you need, and even better, if you want to make another one, gives you all the fabric quantities you need and everything you need to do, with photographs as well. So if you've got the instructions, you could do all sorts of things. You could use, the instructions on their own are just coming up on the screen now at £9.99. This is a fantastic book. You could, bag, you could use like PU for the outside, like a metallic PU, or you could use some old jeans, use denim for the outside, and then some really pretty, like a Liberty print fabric for the inside, or use a metallic PU for the panel and use something plainer. There's so many, many different things you can do with it, but it's a simple bag, but it's got all the detail you need. I like the straps, I like the panel, magnetic clasp, pocket, and it doesn't use masses of fabric either, but it's also quite a good practice piece if you're wanting to move on to the next stage of your sewing and you want to add a few extra things in. So if you want to get any of the other supplies we need on the website, look, here is the, type in the top, webbing. And look, there's lots of different types. Oh, I like that rainbow one. That's very nice, isn't it? And faux leather. So the faux leather would be rather lovely, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be nice? And there's some nice multicoloured. I think actually the one on the website that says multicoloured pastel stripes, I think might well be the one that you've got there. Do you think? It looks like the same, doesn't it? So the one on the website that says multicoloured pastel stripes is the one that's in Debbie's bag that sold out, should you want to buy it. I think it is, anyway, it looks like it. Or it might be a lighter version of it. It's the same one, but it might be just a lighter version of it. But if you want some webbing or interfacing or magnetic snaps, we have them. Now look, Hannah has found the men. Aren't they lovely? And Debbie loves buttons. And I haven't got a pair of scissors. I'll have to cut them, don't worry. No, don't worry. I'll tear them. There we go. Da, da, da. So you get 25 men. And the difference between the men and the women, Paul says, uh-oh, is they don't have skirts. They don't have skirts. Okay, they don't have skirts and they don't have a little heart on either. So, but they're a very nice complementary pair. So £2.99 for the men, £2.99 for the women, and then you'd have 50 couples. Which, you know, I was saying earlier, if you wanted to make Christmas cards, or you wanted to copy Debbie and have buttons as your signature thing, you could put a man and a woman together on them, or you could make a Christmas card with a man and a woman. But they're so sweet, aren't they? I don't know where they went, because they were here this morning. I think, to be honest, I think they got back in the box. I think they were out of the box, and I think they went, maybe they'd had a row. Maybe they went, oh, I've had enough. I've had enough. We're going. They went to go down the pub, didn't they? And they realised it was shut. So there you go. I spend all day doing that. So I'll put all my men back in their bag. So in the next hour, we have got the Crafty Kit Company coming in with their 6 Woodland cross-stitch kits. Aren't they lovely? There's a bear and a hedgehog. And there's a squirrel and a fox and an owl and a raccoon. So they will be with us. Steph from the Crafty Kit Company will be here to show you exactly. So if you've never done cross-stitch before, she's going to show you how to, right from the beginning of opening your kit, what is a chart, what is stranded cotton, and exactly how you follow it. So she will be with us in just a couple of minutes. So we're going. I'm just looking. I was looking at the clock, thinking, what's the time? We're going to have a very quick break, and then she will be with us for cross stitch. Okay, I'll see you soon.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page. Have you heard about Yarn Lane, a TV show dedicated to knitting, crochet and all things yarn, bringing you demonstrations from our expert guests as well as the latest tools. Watch us on Freeview Channel 74, Sky Channel 670 or on our YouTube channel. And find out what's coming up on the show by following us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to our email newsletter or visit the programme guide on our website at www.yarnlane.com.
Hi, I'm Debbie Shaw from Sewing Street, and these are my 5 top tips for successful sewing. So, number 1, always use a good quality thread. A good quality thread will keep your seams stronger and also help to prevent lint building up inside your sewing machine. Tip number 2, if your project isn't going quite according to plan, put it down, walk away from it, come back again the next day and you'll probably find that things don't seem half as bad as they did. My tip number 3, never throw away your sewing machine manual. Always keep it to hand because you're going to find hints and tips, techniques and troubleshooting in that manual. You'll miss it if you lose it. My tip number 4 is to read your pattern instructions before you even cut out your fabric. Different manufacturers of patterns will give you different instructions, different ways of constructing your garments and different seam allowances. So to have a successful garment, you need to follow the instructions precisely. And then tip number 5 is don't give up. Every professional sewer sewed their first seam. Every professional quilter quilted their first quilt. Every professional quilter sewed their first line of wonky stitches and had to get out the quick and pick. That's no different to you. So I hope you find these useful. If you want more hints and tips, then why not go to Sewing Street on channel 74 on Freeview, on Sky 670, and of course we have a YouTube channel where you can catch up on previous demonstrations. We'll see you soon.
Hi, I'm Wendy Orlando and I'm a craft blogger. You can find me over at thecraftyco.com, and if you do head on over and have a peep, you will see that I'm a tutorial blogger. I do all kinds of crafts, but my passions are crochet, knitting and sewing, which I've done for over 45 years. In that time I've made lots of mistakes, but I have learnt lots of tricks and top tips that I can't wait to share. What I'd like to bring to the Sewing Street table is to show that you don't need to have gone to university or have a degree in design to be able to sew. You just need passion, a bit of courage to take the first steps, and a whole lot of patience. Oh, and an unpicker. You will need an unpicker. I do hope that you will follow me as I take my Sewing Street journey, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon.
Hi, I'm Sam from Adventures in Crafting. I'm a craft and crochet teacher based in Tring in Hertfordshire. Since lockdown, I've moved all of my classes onto Zoom, so I now have customers from all over the country. I teach lots of crafts, but crochet is my specialism. I became passionate about crochet when I was pregnant with my 4th child and in desperate need of some me time. Crochet became my sanctuary and I've crocheted every day since then. I'm a qualified teacher, and 8 years ago I began teaching crochet. I love sharing my passion with other people. I design patterns, sell kits and teach lots of classes. My classes range from beginners to next steps, specific makes and clubs. I also like to design crochet alongs. My most recent one was my autumn granny square crochet along, which resulted in me designing this allotment jumper, which I love to wear when I'm out gardening and looking after my chickens. My crochet tip for you is to enjoy it. Crochet should be about taking part in a hobby that brings you pleasure. My claim to fame is that I met Kirsty Allsop at the Handmade Fair and I gave her one of my crochet sunflower brooches. I'm so excited to be taking part in Yarn Lane and I hope you'll enjoy my demonstrations.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page.
And welcome back to Sewing Street for the cross stitch hour. I love cross stitch. That's how I first started in the great world of sewing. I worked for Cross Stitch magazine, started off writing instructions and ended up as an editor. So exciting. So I worked for I did, yes, just add that to my CV. So I worked for Cross Stitch magazines for quite a few years until I had children, and then Sew magazine. So I love cross stitch, and it's one of those things that I sort of dip in and out of. So I might not do it for a while and then I pick it up again, but it is kind of my first stitching love. Anyway, so I was really excited when these came on, and I love these kits. So we have got 6 friends for you to stitch today, and they all live in the Woodland together. So which one would you like me to start with, Hannah? Should we start with Hedgehog? Because you have to watch out for those. I nearly ran over a cat this morning. I thought it was a hedgehog, but I didn't. I missed it, but it was like straight under the... But I thought it was a hedgehog. You have to be careful. So this is the kit. I'm going to show you the kit and the finished. So this is the kit, and in the kit you get everything you need, including the hoop, which is brilliant because the hoop is used to stretch your fabric in to stitch with, but then you can also use it to frame with as well. So that's $15.99, and you get the instructions, the Ada, which is the cross-stitch fabric you stitch with if you haven't done it before, and needle and a hoop. And a very nice instruction booklet. And it all comes really nicely packaged in this box. So if you want to give it to somebody, it's a nice gift, isn't it? Because it all comes together, all in one. What I like about these kits is that the thread is pre-sorted, because sorting thread, nobody likes sorting thread. So I'm going to show you. So there's your instruction booklet, everything you need, and it says a beginner's guide. I mean, and this really is a beginner's guide. Put my glasses and I can read it as well. But it tells you everything you need to know how to do it. So if you get, maybe you've never done cross stitch, this is ideal. If you're getting back into it and you just need a refresh, you can't remember, or you just love woodland animals, this is perfect for you. You get the chart, and I like the fact, I'm quite picky about charts. The charts are coloured and symboled, because sometimes if they're just symbols, it's really hard to differentiate between one and another. If they're just colours, if the shades are quite close in colour, you're not always sure, particularly if the light's not great. If you haven't bought yourself one of our daylight lamps, it's often not easy to see. But by mixing together the colours and the symbols, it's absolutely obvious which you're doing. And that's all on the chart. And then you've got one there without the symbols. So you can choose which one you want to work from. And it also lists, these are DMC stranded cotton, it also lists all the colour numbers. So once you've stitched one, if you want to stitch another hedgehog, you know which colours to buy, and it tells you how many strands of each. So that's really good. So here's the stranded cotton, which is all wrapped round here. And then you can just put these on your thread organiser. So there's exactly what you need. I would imagine there's probably a little bit more. And then you just attach these to your organiser. Then you get the piece of Ada fabric that's needed, and the tapestry needle, and a hoop. And there's a nice allowance of fabric, because although you don't need this much when it's framed, it's really hard framing fabric in a hoop because it has to be very tight if you haven't got enough, because it's hard to pull it around the edge. So that's what you get in the kit, and every kit's the same, except obviously it has a different chart and different animals. But look at that, you see, so once you've got the chart, and I think it's really nice that they give you the thread numbers. So obviously you don't have to use the same colours, but if you want to make him exactly the same, then you can use the chart because you've got it to stitch him again. So isn't he sweet with his little smile? I like that. Yes, if you you could make 10 of them, and then you could hang them all on the wall and call them a prickle of hedgehogs. That's the collective noun. We're going to do that for all of the animals now. For all of them. I like a collective noun. So the next animal is the fox. And it's, I wonder what it is for fox. I should know what this is. My whole porch is painted in names of collective nouns. Yes, I painted them all on there, but I can't remember what a fox is. Now, I don't want crows and owls. I like a non-patience of wives. That's my favourite one. A non-patience of wives. And a prickle and a flutter of butterflies is a really lovely one. A flamboyance, a prickle of hedgehogs. So this one is the fox. A skulk of foxes, of course. And he's got a bobble hat on. He's really cute, isn't he? That's because because foxes only obviously come out in the autumn and the woodland. So that's why he's got a bobble hat on and little pink cheeks. But these are a great collection, aren't they? So you can put, because they're all woodland and they're all in the same size and the same hoops, wouldn't they look lovely together? If you wanted to hang them, you know, the decorate a children's room. It's quite on trend at the moment, isn't it? To just hang things on the wall just in hoops. You don't need all fancy frames, everything, you just need a hoop, and you only need a tiny, tiny little nail in the wall to just hang them over. Beautiful piece of wall art. So that's the fox. He's on the screen at the moment. He's on screen. He's on screen at the moment. His code is on screen. We do have, if you want to do a collection of wall art, we do have bundles coming up in the moment. Which animal next would you like me to do? Now we're going to go red squirrel. So here's the kit for the squirrel. And now what is a collection of squirrels called? A hazelnut of squirrels. I wonder whether it's... Yeah, I made that up. I made that up. That's not actually true. Yeah, but aren't they... Yeah. Hannah says the squirrels are currently digging up her bulbs. I think the answer to that, Hannah, is you need to bury acorns in your garden. And they will dig those up instead. I know, but you see, the thing is, at the moment, the squirrels are collecting everything ready for the winter, aren't they? And they need it. So that's lovely. Love that one. Well, he's obviously a red squirrel, so he's incredibly rare. A scurry of squirrels. And he's scurrying along with his acorn. They've all got a little bit of interest about them. So the fox has got his bobble hat and the squirrel's got his acorn. Right, next, should we do the owl? Parliament of Owls, I knew that one. Parliament of Owls, that's really lovely. And he's sitting on a little branch. But it's lovely that there's the same colour palette used throughout. So they do go together as a collection if you want to. If you know somebody who's passed an exam, perfect for that. Someone who's very wise, very good for that. But they look really lovely. I think they're very good for decorating a room. It doesn't have to be a children's room. Next, we'll do the raccoon. Where's the raccoon kit? Yeah, I've decided now because they're not being quick enough telling me, so I decided. So I wonder what this is, a cuddle of raccoons. I'm making it up. I know, but you know, somebody made up collective nouns at some point. They weren't born with them, did they? But I know, but you see, this is prompting a cuddle. So Paul's going to find a group. A nursery of raccoons. I quite like that. I wonder why they're called a nursery. Yeah. A gang. They are sort of a gang of raccoons. But no, it's not. It's a gaze. So that's the raccoon. And he's got on a little bit of grass. He's lovely, isn't he? I like him. And then finally we have a bear. But he's not a scary bear. He's a really friendly bear with a scarf and an apple. He's nice, a big brown bear. I like his little cross-stitch eyes as well. So, what is the noun for the bears, please? A sloth of bears. Yeah, a honeypot of bears. I think we should make up our own collective nouns. So, if you want to buy more than one of these, we have got a special offer for you. You can buy the grey bundle, grey and brown toned. So you've got the raccoon, the bear and the hedgehog. So if you want to buy all three of these, it's £42.97 for the three, which is a saving of £5. So if you're interested in buying all three of the grey, so you could use them if you wanted to give the kits as gifts. You could use these as 3 different gifts, or if you want to hang 3 on your walls, you've got 3 to hang together, and they're sort of similar colours. So that's £42.97. That's the grey bundle. But if you want the orange bundle, which is the owl, the fox, and the squirrel, let me just move them over a little bit. Again, £42.97. There's the code on screen now. Again, a £5 saving if you want. So obviously you can buy them all separately. You can buy the bundles. If you want all 6, you'd have to buy the 2 bundles. And then you'd have a £10 saving in total. Okay? Right, so shall we find out how to make them? If you've not tried cross-stitch before, Steph from the Crafty Kit Company is here to show you how. Good morning, Steph. Nice to see you.
Lovely to be here.
First, can I say how much I love your top?
Thank you.
Isn't it the best? Is it not the best? I actually thought when she came in she was wearing a pair of dungarees.
Yeah.
It's wonderful, isn't it?
It's one of those, it always gets attention whenever you wear it, but it's so comfy and it's
just crafty, isn't it? I thought it was dungarees, but it's all printed on, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a lovely long picture.
Lovely. So tell me about the Crafty Kit Company.
Right, so the Crafty Kit Company are based up in East Lothian in Scotland.
Okay.
And have been in business for 10 years. she
Right.
says, pulling that out of the air. Have I got that right? Yes. But I've been around the Crafty Kit Company for the last 2-3 years because I've been producing the videos for them, for the instructional videos to go along with. We're starting with the needle felting, which we're coming to later, but and then also demoing and selling the kits and things. But Crafty Kits, cross stitch, knitting, sewing. Yeah,
all sorts
and
of
the
crafts.
lovely thing about these kits, and this is why I was so attracted to them initially, was there's everything in the box. So, you know, when you give them as a kit, or if you're going away, you just grab one because you think, oh, I want to do something while I'm away. You know there's everything in there.
Yeah, you haven't got, it doesn't say, oh, and you will also need this and this and this. Oh, well, that's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's what I absolutely love about, and the instructions and everything. And obviously Jo, whose company it is very passionate about craft and is lovely. And she does live Zoom instructionals. In fact, she did one last night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can see them on Facebook and stay in contact. So it's not just buying a kit, it's you know, it's the whole family.
No, I've
company
spoken to
thing.
her. She's lovely. She's very passionate about all of this, isn't she? It's not just sort of a faceless company. There is a lot of thought behind that.
Absolutely.
And I can tell that from the fact that, the charts have got symbols and colours, and then just colours.
Yeah.
Because she obviously knows what people want.
Absolutely, yeah. And also even down to the packaging, where all the packaging is beautiful, isn't it?
It is very, no, it is, and that's what makes it very giftable as well, which is important, isn't it? Is that, when you buy things like that, you want to be able to give to someone, and it's lovely, and it is beautiful packaging, and it does make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do give, especially at the moment, very much so, crafts as gifts.
Yes, yeah.
And of course, what lots of people are doing are buying one for themselves, one for someone else, and then doing that perhaps over social media together and things, so that
you can do that. So you can phone someone, let's do a Zoom and we'll do this together. Yeah, you see a lot of that now, and I think that's a really nice thing. Particularly, you see it often with grandparents, don't you, and grandchildren, and then they can do it together because they can't meet up at the moment, and that's a nice thing.
Still
to do
keeping that connection, still doing something really lovely. So yeah, beautiful.
Okay, so where do we start when we open the box?
Yes.
If we're brand new to this.
So we open the box, and as you said, the lovely thing is you get a nice beginner's guide with everything in with regards to what to do and not do. You get your threads, you've got your Ada fabric, you've got your hoop, and you've got your cross stitch.
So what's
guide.
Ada fabric?
So
if you've not done cross stitch.
So Ada fabric has been produced to make it, I mean, I say easier, but some people say it's just as easy to do things on linen. But personally, I think as a beginner, the nice thing about it is it's basically one thread per stitch. So you can see, that we can
Can we have a close-up, Paul? Yeah, just put it on the desk.
Okay.
And move it to the right a bit. There we go. Just a bit more to the right. There we go. Right. Now, if you're getting really close, you can see the holes.
It's really easy, isn't it, to see the holes of where you're going to put in your little crosses across, which is brilliant because they correspond to the stitch guide that we've got, and you can really easily see and count your stitches, this is counted cross stitch. We haven't got our picture printed on. You're going to have to get your nice little guide and do the counting across. But yeah, Ada fabric, it's 14 count, which means it's 14 stitches per inch. So and if somebody did want to do something the same pattern and then go up a level in linen, or perhaps that would be the same as 28 count in the linen. So the great thing I love about this sort of craft is this is a brilliant kit for a beginner, but like if you've done a few and you thought, well, I actually want to go and add, but you can add bits to it, can't you? You can actually get a little bit, I'll put a different stitch in and things like that. So that's what I always think, encourage people to start off exactly as it says on the tin, and then
make it your own. Just because this is how it's shown, you can adapt it and make it fit you, can't you? Quite,
all for that. So yes. So that's our Ada fabric that we start with. I've had a little needle which I just took out, which is always just in there so we don't lose it.
Right.
And yeah, coming to our wonderful pattern. And as you say, we've got not only the colours, we've got the colours with the symbols. And I've particularly used the raccoon to show this, because this is where you can really see there are an awful lot of different greys.
Ah, okay. Yeah, and if the light isn't grey...
Oh my goodness, how could you put...
Yeah.
Which one is that? So that's where having the symbols is brilliant, because you can very quickly see, ah yes, that's that symbol, that's number 3, that's number 4, and that's where it comes into its own, definitely. All of the patterns that we do are 2 strands, and it does say that down the right hand side of the legend as well. And not only does it give the DMC number, but it actually gives the fabric name as well, which is quite useful, isn't it? Just in case you need to search something.
Yeah, but if you want to have exactly the same to reproduce it, because once you've got the pattern, that's yours.
Yes, absolutely.
You don't have to give it back.
I know, it's great, isn't it? Use it wherever you like. So yes, we were saying about already separated. How lovely.
Great, isn't it?
How lovely is that? Already separated.
I know, because sorting threads is horrible, because sometimes you get given this big bundle and then it says put them on the card and you think, oh, I don't know which one's which.
I know, and then you sort of think 3 hours later I'm still trying to. So yeah, already separated, already corresponding to the numbers on the guide. And one thing which it does suggest, which is quite a good idea, is to actually write your DMC number on here as well. So if things do go astray, you've still got the numbers on there.
So Fiona's got a really good question. What's Fiona's question? Does the bundle... Oh, still come in individual gift boxes. Yes, it does. You will have... Yes, they won't be all taken apart. You will get... You would just get... If you buy the... bundle of the red animals, the owl, the fox, it will come like that. 3 is the most popular, this bundle. Yes, they will come as 3, so if you were thinking about you wanted to give 3 gifts, they will be completely separate. They won't be mixed together. They'll just be in the same envelope, that's all. But they will all be together. Okay.
Excellent. Okay, so yep, so we've got all our stranded, that's all there. Add your DMC so you've got that, just in case things go astray. We have our hoop. Now, some people like to use the hoop when they're actually doing the cross stitch, and some people don't. Yeah. But the great thing about the hoop, as you say, is it's a brilliant frame, regardless. I always like it as well when people hang out with a bit of ribbon.
It's really nice, isn't it? It's just a lovely piece of wall art, isn't it? And you see it quite a lot with embroidery at the moment as well, is that people will just hang out. Oh, we've got one hung up there behind you. Piece
there
of
you go,
beautiful. It's really lovely, isn't it? It's an easy piece of wall art. And
depending on the size of your tree, could be a big bauble.
Could be, yes. I mean, you see a lot of them hang on trees, the smaller hoops, don't you?
Absolutely.
So it could be a very big bauble.
But as you say, I just think they're a great decorative, as well as if you want to use it when you're doing the cross stitch, it just means it stretches it out, and for some people it means you can see the spaces where you need to actually put your needle through easy. Personally, I don't use a hoop. I like to just get my hands on the fabric, but that once again, it's each to their own, isn't it?
I know, there's no right or wrong, and you'll get people like, oh, you have to stitch in a hoop. No, you don't actually.
No.
Actually, it's up to you.
Whatever you want to do.
It's yours. Once you bought it, it belongs to you. Do whatever you like. But you do, I know you will always get people go, oh, you must stitch in a hoop.
Yeah.
But actually, Ada's quite stiff anyway, that it doesn't really distort.
No,
so it's not like stitching on linen, which can stretch out of shape. It's quite stiff anyway.
Yeah. So that's brilliant, perfect. And as I say, once again, I just think it's a great fabric for a beginner's kit. So here we go. The first thing I think people ask, and I see searched on most, is separating the threads, because we need to do 2 strands. Now, these have actually been cut into nice lengths, which and in my case, the cast on that I use, I don't know which cast on you use, Rebecca, is the loop.
I use the loop.
Lovely.
Yes, I use double length with the loop.
Yes, so this is a perfect
I only
length.
stitch in even numbers of strands.
Yes, exactly.
For that reason.
Yes, marvellous.
Yes, I never use 3.
Good enough reason for me. And in that case, the thread is cut perfectly for that.
Oh, okay, so it's double the length you need.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
So let's just start off with, let's get just to show the separating. I'm just going to take off, and what I do is once I've actually
need to move over to the right just a tad. Lovely.
There we go.
pull this out.
So you take it,
So I'm just literally just taking that out of the hole. Now, what I do, once I've actually taken my strands off of here, I actually put the remaining back in the side on the opposite side of here, so that I know those are the ones that I'm in.
So those are the ones that haven't got the full 6 strands in them.
Yeah, and you know you're
good tip. Good tip. I like
that one. Right. So here we go. So as I say, this is going to be the length. Once we've actually pulled the strand out, will be doubled over, and that will be the size we want. So we just want 1 out of here.
So there's 6 in there, but we want 1.
We just want 1. So it'll be interesting to know if you do this the same way.
Okay. Well, I know it's great though, isn't it? Because everyone has a different way of doing things. And it's really nice to share.
So the way I do it is I initially just pull it a little way, so that I've got that. Because the main thing is we don't want to get an absolutely huge tangle. This is classic saying that, isn't it? And then I'm going to get a huge tangle. So, and then I'm just pulling. Now you will see it is gathering up in my hand, but I'm doing it slow enough that it's not knotting. So by the time I pull it out the top, it just falls away. So it's not actually knotted. That's how I do it. How do you do it?
Yes, similar, because some people pull it apart and that will knot. But what I do is I pull it, but I hold all the strands together through my thumb and finger and pull it that way. But it's similar. But I would just say to them, don't do it that way. Yeah. Because it will not. You need to do it vertically.
Whichever.
It doesn't matter exactly how you do it, but you will find, particularly with that length, that if you open them out sideways, they just tangle or they get into a knot because of the tension. But if you do it vertically, they don't. Yeah. So
beautiful.
So you just need to take one out of the 6.
So 1 out of the 6, and then we double it over. And that is a great length.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah, so they're all cut ready, which is brilliant, isn't it? You don't have to think
I know,
about
well, you
that.
can tell these have been made by a company that understand it, because sometimes you do buy kits where you think, I wonder who made this kit. This is clearly someone who's never done any stitching.
It's obviously whatever was convenient for the cutting size rather than the actual making, isn't it? But,
the hedgehog is currently the most popular animal.
Ah, yes.
He has overtaken the fox, which would never happen in normal life.
Wow.
To be honest. But the hedgehog has
I'm not
overtaken
surprised.
the
hedgehogs
fox.
Are very
so he is the most popular at the moment. I don't think he's called Harry Hedgehog. I don't think he's got a name, but he has overtaken the fox. We should have them a little line, but that's the order of them at the moment.
So I'm just going to thread my needle here. Okay. There we go. So we were talking about how do we cast on, and I do the loop and you do the loop. So if I just show that, because I just think that's a nice, and what I'm going to do.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things that people, how do you start?
And there is, and in fact, it does explain in the booklet how you can also do it where you just have the loose and you go in and leave that. But personally, I think this is neater. I also think it means that you've got the thread the right length, so I don't have to do anything to it. So for me, the easy life from that point of view, I think it's a nice, neat start, because you always end with the loose thread woven in anyway. So, you know, one's enough, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
So, where do you start?
It's up to you, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, always know where the centre of the pattern is.
I normally start in the middle, because I used to start at the top and count up, and I got it wrong once, and it fell off. So never again.
No. Always start. Well, I always start counting from the middle, just so that you think, right. Okay, sometimes I might go slightly up or slightly down, but
you think, start at the top once.
Yeah. So that's no. Well, mind you, mistakes are that way, aren't they? Which is you just don't ever do that one again.
Yeah, you just don't ever do it again, because I did all that stitching and thought, I've run out of fabric now.
Yeah. Beautiful. Right, so, and that's one also great thing about our Ada, is that it creases nicely, so we can very quickly see where the centre is. So we can see our crease that way, centre. Now the nice thing about the pattern is that not only have you got blocks of 10 where it's slightly thicker line and it shows you at the top, but you also have a nice little arrow at the left and a little arrow at the top, which if you bring them together, that will be where the centre of your pattern.
Okay, if you move it to the right a bit, then they can get in a bit more. Paul will get in nice and close, and then you can show them the arrows.
So you can see the arrow at the top there, arrow at the side there, coming to, and that's your centre.
Oh, right, okay, that's nice.
So that's nice. So it's really easy to work out where your centre is on the whole pattern. And so that would correspond to the centre of the fabric. Now, you obviously want to start at the beginning of a line, don't you? You don't want to really start right in the middle, because that's actually a colour of the raccoon right in the centre of his body. So the best thing to do is to basically count the number of stitches from the centre out to the left, so you can start at the beginning of the line and the same on your fabric. So here I've got my centre, and if I count, I've got a block of 10 and I've got 2 either side, so that's 14.
But there is more than enough fabric, isn't there? So if you were off by a few stitches, it would be the end of the world.
As you showed, there's plenty of fabric. If you put, and when you see the finished pieces, you know that it fits within there. So even if you've gone a bit,
it's not.
No, it's not dire, which is why sometimes I am slightly down or slightly over. But yeah, it's just.
If that's fine, they've been generous.
Yes,
thankfully.
Indeed, indeed. So let me go again. So with my fabric here, it is just a case then a case of counting those squares from the centre to where you're going to start. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Nicely. Number 14 there. Okay. So in order to start that loop stitch, I am just going to get my needle up on that last number 14. Bring the needle through, leave it a little bit long the other side, and do the first half of the cross stitch, which is going diagonally. Take that underneath. I turn it over. We will see that I've actually got the loop, which I'm going to put my needle through, which is why it's called the loop method, and just put it up. Nice. And that makes it nice and neat on the back.
Easy,
just
isn't it? Very, very neat.
Nice and neat on the back as well as on the front. And then you can start in your stitches. Now, stitches. I mean, are you someone who does rows, or are you someone who does...
whatever.
Do you?
Yeah. It depends on the pattern, doesn't it?
Yeah,
whatever, really.
Yeah,
I like to think of rows, but it doesn't always work like that, does it? Sometimes you might have 2s and 3s. So I think it really is up to you, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I always start off, I think, in a nice big space, so I feel like I'm getting somewhere.
Yes, yeah.
And
I like to sort of go one way and then back another. I try and do that, but it does depend on the pattern.
Yeah. But the important part is to do it the same, whatever you do, isn't it? Because if you're left-handed or right-handed, I'm assuming, because I'm right-handed, I nearly always do my lines starting one way and going along. You may do it the other way round.
As long as the top stitches all face the same direction.
Yes. Although the other day, and I'll show you on when I did my hedgehog, I did it so that it was a bit more random, because I thought the texture in that spikiness of the hedgehog.
That's a really good idea, because the thing is about the light falls on it. So if they all go the same way, the light falls on it evenly. But if you don't want it to be even.
So I started my hedgehog here, and it was a bit more random as to which way. So nice and neat here. As we can see, lovely, nice and neat. And then I went a bit random on that bit, which just for me, I thought, bit of texture.
Did you want the texture? That's a good idea. I know none of these rules are definite. That's why I would say,
there's no such thing as rules. They're just guidelines.
They're guidelines, exactly. So if you want to work in rows, that's fine.
If you want to
go sometimes also that can be a bit boring. So I like working a little chunk.
Yes.
So I don't want to do a whole row.
Do a little square, because otherwise you're just going all the way along and all the way back, aren't you? I mean, that's what's quite nice about the size of these, I think, is that you do start getting somewhere quite quickly and you can see the colours build. And that's always important whenever I'm starting something new. I think once you've done something for a while, or you get more au fait with something, you don't mind doing, or you get quicker.
Yes,
but,
that's true.
One or the other. But yes, so that's how I, with this one, as I say, you can see nice and neatly where I've done it all the same way on the body. And then I've just gone a bit wilder. The other thing that I did on the hedgehog, which was slightly different, is I used more threads on the actual dark brown.
Oh, okay.
To make it...
Yeah, to make this, because those are the prickles, aren't they?
Yeah, to make that bulk out. So once again, these are just... I think if you are new to it and you'd rather just do it exactly as it says in the pattern, then and you'll get that beautiful picture which is over there.
Yes.
But if you fancy doing something
a bit more texture and a bit different, then just shake it up a bit.
Exactly. Go your own way.
Because it is yours.
Yes.
Remember that. I think that sometimes we're all a bit bad at that. We get some instruction, oh, I've got to do it that way, I've got to do it that way. But you know, you don't. It's up to you.
No. And in fact, one of the things it says in the instructions here is that, you know, we all go wrong sometimes.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, because as I say, this is counted cross stitch, so there will be, and I did actually, which one did I go wrong on? And I had to, it's called frogging, isn't it, when you undo it?
Yeah, I came across that term
Why is it called that?
the other day for the first time. And it was to do with crochet. And I was reading this pattern, it said, this is quite complicated, I had to frog it quite a lot. And I thought, what? I thought maybe that was some stitch in crochet. Yes. So I looked it up and it meant undoing. Yeah. And I have never heard that before. No.
Someone said it the other day and I was thinking, oh, obviously that's the word to use then. No, but I'd not heard it before.
That's really weird. That's the first time I've heard it.
Nice though, isn't it? I'd rather say frogging than undoing.
So do you want me to recap? Right, okay, I just want to recap the bundles for you before we carry on. So we're just about to stitch. Don't move anywhere. We're about to do that. So just remember that you can buy all of these kits separately, but if you want to buy them in a bundle of 3, there's the orange bundle. Is it actually called the orange bundle? No. It's called the Fox, Owl and Squirrel bundle, but it is actually the orange animals. And it is the most popular of the bundles. Now, if you buy these 3 together, it's £42.97, so you will save £5. And they will come packaged as separate boxes. They won't all be in together. So if you're thinking you want to buy 3 presents, or 2 presents and 1 for yourself, they will come separately and they're very easy to wrap. So in a box. If you want to buy the grey animal, well, browny grey animals, which is the bear, the raccoon and the hedgehog, which come in these boxes here. I love the way. Well, that's a perfect present for a teacher, isn't it? Because he's holding an apple. That's end of term. Thank you, teacher. I'm so glad you've got my child back in school. Cheers, teach. So you can buy those 3 together. Again, there's a £5 saving. So, and if you want to buy all 6 kits, just pop the 2 bundles in your basket and you've saved £10. But remember, they are all available separately as well. So if you want just one, that's fine. You can buy them all separately. The most popular one, that's why that's the only one we're going to talk about, is the hedgehog. He's so lovely, isn't he? Because he's smiling. So if you've got it in your basket, I would check out, because there is a lot of people that have got these in their basket, so you need to get these checked out. And remember, there is everything in the kit that you need, except for a pair of scissors. But you will have those, so that's fine. But everything else that you need, all the materials, is in the kit. Okay, right, back to you, Steph. So we've made the loop.
Yes. So
what are we going to do next?
Over here. So we've made our loop. And so now, because we've got a nice long row to come along here, and in fact, if I count up the blocks,
we need to just lean back a bit because your head is in. There you
lovely.
Go. Perfect.
Yes. So if I do a brief count up, I've basically got 36 stitches. So that's a nice long. Right. So I've done my loop to start, and I'm going to come back down here for 36 stitches. As I say, I'm someone who likes to hold my Ada in my hand rather than, and what I'm going to do is do half a stitch all the way down and then half a stitch all the way back, so that hopefully we get it nice and neat. So I'm going in across again, so that and I'm at the same time coming up the next one, so that I'm not going down and coming back up.
Okay.
because basically I spend ages then trying to find. Now, once again, this is something which I think people ask a lot, which is how tight do you do it? Now, I did notice that actually the lady who did all the samples for us, who did them nice and quite much, in fact, they're tighter than I do mine. But that doesn't mean that she's wrong or I'm wrong. I think, once again, it's just you need to do it
as long as
way.
it doesn't pull the fabric or they're not sagging, then it doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah. So I pull it, but I don't pull it tight. I think I just, right, that's it.
What's your question, Hannah? Hannah's got a question. Oh, Hannah's got a good message, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, do you think that's true or is that made up? Okay. Yeah, rip it, frog it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Do you think that's, I wonder where it comes from because I honestly have never, that's so weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
I heard it this week.
Yeah, me
and
too.
I had to check it because I thought there's obviously something part about this crochet pattern I'd never heard of frogging.
Absolutely. So it's weird, isn't it? Because I'd heard it for the first time.
I was thinking maybe frogs, but frogs don't jump backwards because it is undoing it. So it's
yeah,
weird,
I mean, presumably it doesn't just relate to cross stitch then. If you
no, obviously, because I came across it in this crochet pattern, so it's obviously a thing that we've never come across.
See, I thought maybe it might be because in cross stitch you're kind of doing it sideways. That
no,
be crabbing then, wouldn't it?
I spent a lot. It said I spent a lot of time frogging this round. Yeah. I thought,
lovely. So even though I counted 36 stitches, as we were saying, you don't have to go all the way. You might be easier for yourself to think I'm going to do it in blocks of 10. Yeah. And that will be fine too. So I'm just carrying on once again. And as I say, I pull mine, that's it, I'm there. I don't put it tight. Yeah. It's just...
So it just sits.
Yeah. That's a nice word. Just sits. Like
sits.
that. Just sits.
Just sits on the fabric.
Lovely. And so this is half of the stitch. In fact, I'm just going to do a few and then I'm going to go back the other way. And then I turn myself around and I come back the other way, going back into that. No, I don't. I stay. What am I doing? I've gone completely wrong. There you go. I stay exactly the same way. Can you just rewind that tape?
Yes. Yeah, we'll just reverse that. That's the beauty of live TV.
Yeah, love
you have to just go, oh, well.
Love it. So we go back in that same hole across there. Oh, and I've pulled my little needle out. There we go. There we go, and we make our first little cross, and I'm just going to thread my needle. Okay. The other pattern where I went and did a little bit extra was also on the bobble on the fox.
Oh, okay.
Because that one lends itself to have a bit of double threading and making that raised up, which is
yes. No, that's a nice idea. You could even sew a pom-pom to it, couldn't you?
Yes.
Those tiny ones, you know, you can get the pre-made
yes,
ones.
you can. Just add a bit. I mean, it's amazing actually how many little things you could, beads and things you could add to
I know,
them,
well that's it, you can embellish it, can't
yeah.
you? So it would look nice with a little, you can buy mini pom-poms, can't you?
Yes, you can.
Sort of felted ones almost, aren't they?
Absolutely. Add that to it. But yeah, another little, I mean, I am quite partial to raccoons actually, I think they're just, so.
They are really sweet.
I'm just trying to up the, I realise the hedgehog's getting the vote. I'm just trying to put the vote into the raccoon here.
Okay, don't go with the hedgehog. Just because, but he is so far in the lead.
Oh.
But we love the raccoon.
We do.
He looks really, he's like really sweet and innocent, isn't he?
Stripy little tail.
Face.
There we go. Try not to bend that up.
I think raccoons are quite nice though, aren't they? I don't think they're not like skunks that smell.
Oh no, no, you wouldn't want a skunk.
I don't know what raccoon. I don't know, where do they live anyway? They live in people's lofts.
Are they? In North America. Apart from that,
Hannah's got a picture of her holding a raccoon, which she's going to show us on her in a minute.
No, she's not.
Yes, she is. She's going to just show us a little picture of her holding a raccoon. She's not going to share it.
Oh, that's not very nice. So there we have our first line.
Okay,
so
that's part of the raccoon's body.
So we just, and the lovely thing is, as I say, you can do it in the blocks that you want to. You can stop at any time, because what I do, she says, with her, I have a nice little pen that, as I've done some, and I leave this side fine with all the symbols on.
Okay.
But when I've done some,
you cross them out.
I get my little pen and say, even if you think, well, I've only done, and in fact I have only done 6, so that I know I've done those 6.
Yeah, I guess it helps if you then leave it and you come back to it the next day, you know where you are as well.
Yeah, exactly. And it's easy then also to find which way up am I, because I've literally just done 6.
Yeah,
so that's where my centre is, that's where my centre is. Yeah, lovely. And obviously what we're doing on here is smaller. This is bigger scale, so that relates to that. But it's just, yeah, go with it, basically.
Yeah. So would you do all of that colour then before you move on to the next one?
Well, no, actually what I would end up doing is I would do the bottom half, because then I would get into doing the legs.
Oh, okay. And then you could do his feet.
Yeah, and then I would come up and do the top half afterwards and go over. But that's where I think you know whether you're the sort of person who likes to do something completely and then move on, or whether you're someone who thinks, no, I need a bit more colour and I need to do a bit of this. And like all the ones that I've done, I think I've done little bits. In fact, I was saying about doing the frogging. This is one.
Our new term.
This is one that I've done some frogging this week, because I had classic. I do cross stitching when I'm listening to the telly, and then occasionally when I watch the telly, I get lost.
Yes, that is the problem, isn't it?
I ended up doing one extra of these little points over here, and I ended up being too high. And in fact, you may just be able to see that the holes where I've actually taken the stitches out are slightly bigger. But the nice thing is a steam iron will actually take that out. Can you very slightly see that?
It looks like a flamingo.
Yes, oh, that's true. Yeah. Make it pink.
Yeah, because it looks like, what is that part of it then?
It's just the squirrel's tail, isn't it?
Oh, of course, yeah. Yes. Yeah, but there it is. Yeah. It's the squirrel's tail. But it looked, because you just had that bit, it looked like a flamingo.
And one thing I will mention, one thing I love about, we were saying about the beautiful frames and everything, is if you turn them over, is the really lovely way of finishing them off.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it? So what do you do? Just cut it afterwards?
So literally putting it in, cut it into a circle while it's in the frame is what I do. So you can.
How do you show us how you put it in a frame?
Okay. So the lovely thing.
If you've never used one.
So we have our fabulous frame with our little catch here, which we can just unscrew.
Okay.
She says you can just.
These are nice quality as well, aren't they? Because sometimes the screws are different, thinner than this.
I've picked the one that you can't unscrew.
But these have got quite a nice grip on them, haven't they?
Just grab another one. In fact, that one had an exceptional grip on it.
Been done up super tight.
Yes.
Yeah, these are fine. And also they have got a nut on them as well.
Yes, they've got a nut. They've got, I say, a lovely grip. Undo it, nice and loose. Out it pops. So obviously, when you've got your finished piece, you would get it so that it fits within the frame. And then just literally edge it over. So it's stretching it as it goes. And she pushes it down. And then it's actually in the frame, nice and tight. As I move it down, it's just stretching it a little bit more. And in fact, I probably don't really have to tighten that up because that's nice and tight already.
So you just tighten it until it, well, you screw it up until it's nice and tight.
So then you would just screw it up the opposite way to the undoing. Yeah. But actually that's, because I didn't undo it so loose, it was actually, I quite like doing it that way rather than having it really loose because I'm actually like stretching it as I'm putting it on.
Yes, that's what you mean.
Yeah. And then obviously you can fold the fabric in. And this is where we were saying I don't cut till now, because if I've accidentally put my thing over to the left.
Yeah, no, that's true. Then you've got a bit of
now
leeway.
I've got my little leeway where I can actually say, right, and so I'm going to cut it into a circle so that the fabric can bend over.
Right.
So give it an inch and a half even, depending on how well, I would take my shortest bit, which in my case is probably this bit up here, and then just do the same as that all the way around. And then once you've cut that off, you take your needle and just thread all the way
like a
around.
running stitch. Nice.
Running stitch, put it up, and then it looks lovely and neat. It's like
it does, and it's really quick, isn't it? That's such a quick finish, isn't it?
Yeah, and also I thought, I was thinking the other day that, you know, we were saying about putting them on nursery walls. If you were putting it on a wall which you got quite a strong pattern or something on, and just perhaps the colour of the wall was showing through, you could just cut yourself a nice little piece of felt or something and just literally pop it in. Don't even have to sew it in. You could just pop it in.
So you could sew it onto the back, but if you didn't want to, you could just slip it in there.
Just literally slip it in there, and that would just give it that
Because I think that's
little
often the problem with all sorts of sewing, is it's that final bit. It's like you make some patchwork, but you never get around to make it in a cushion, or you cross-stitch a picture and you never get around to taking it to the picture frame. Right. But this is just
done.
Easy, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thanks, Steph. It's been brilliant. You've really, really gone right back to the beginning, which I think is lovely. So if you are an experienced cross-stitcher, you will buy these because they're just beautiful. But you've really explained to us how a beginner.
Fantastic.
So we will see you back on at 12
o'clock,
Yarn Lane, which is very exciting.
Yes, looking forward
So
to
you are at the end of our very first week.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Which is great, isn't it? So it's nice, isn't it, that we've had a bit of crochet and we're going to have some needle felting. Of course, it's yarn. But no, I'm talking about just Yarn Lane now, which is a different channel. But thank you so much. That's been great.
Okay,
so I will see you in an hour.
Yes.
Okay. So if you want to buy one of the kits, let's start off with the most popular. Maybe we'll work from the top down. It's so popular. Why are hedgehogs more popular than any other animal? Because they're just so cute. I would really like a hedgehog. Not like as a pet, but to live in the garden. I'd need to buy, maybe you can buy hedgehog houses. Maybe I need a hedgehog house and lots of worms, because it'd be nice to have a pet one. But it's quite, as you see them, they come in the evening and don't they eat cat food? But then I've read that maybe you're not supposed to feed them cat food. But don't feed them milk. I do know that. I mean, I live near the country, but I don't have a hedgehog. Anyway, if you want to buy the hedgehog, this is what he looks like. With his little cheeks and smile, like his little arms. He's really cute. And he's by far the most popular. So in the kit, you get everything you need. You get the fabric, you get the Ada fabric, the stranded cotton, which is pre-sorted on the card, more than enough that you need, needle and the hoop. And you can use the hoop to stitch, to put your fabric in when you're stitching or not, depending on how you prefer to stitch. But you can also use it as the frame, because it's a really lovely frame. There's obviously the full instructions, and which is a beginner's guide. So if you've never cross-stitched before, or you want to give this to somebody as a gift who's never cross-stitched before, everything they need is in this box. And a full colour chart with symbols, which you will understand if you cross-stitch, makes things a lot easier. So that's a great gift. Then we're going to move on to the fox, because he's my second favourite. I don't know about anybody else's. He's lovely, isn't he? He's got his green bobble hat on, and as Steph was saying, once you've stitched this, you can do what you like with it. Add some texture, sew a little bobble onto his head. You could do extra stitches, add more embroidery to it. You could put some longer stitches in the grass using the stranded cotton to give it more texture. You don't have to copy this. So if you are a bit more creative and you're into your multimedia textiles and things, there's a lot you can do with the cross stitch. I love that one, cross stitch fox. Next, which one shall we do? Let's do the squirrel. So there's the squirrel. He's really sweet. Look at him holding that. That is a massive acorn. Mind you, often see squirrels carrying really big things. You wonder how on earth they're carrying them. So if you want to order this, it's $15.99. Remember, you can shop on the website. If you click onto the website, click on Watch It, all of the products are below. If you don't want to shop online, you can phone the call centre, and the number's 0800 001 4433. That's on screen at the moment. It's a UK call centre. and all the people who work there are really helpful. They're, you know, if you've got any questions, you're not sure about anything, they'll be able to help you, but you can order then. It's a free phone number as well, so you haven't got to pay for that. So there's the squirrel. Next we'll do the owl. The wise owl, look at his little face. That's really sweet. So, you know, again, lovely picture for the wall of a room. Could be a nursery, children's room, or anywhere really. Or, because it's an owl, good gift for somebody, like a congratulations if they've done an exam. I think the bear, we're moving on to a minute, he'd be a good teacher gift, wouldn't he? Because he's carrying a little apple. So, you know, have a think of things like this when you know everybody prefers a homemade gift to a shop-bought one, because they know the hours and the time that you've put into them. So that's a nice gift. Or even the kit is lovely. The bear. Hello. Just look at his little face. I think he's just really sweet, isn't he? And it's often, you know, when people do toy making, I think what makes toys work or not work are the features. It's the facial features. And, you know, by moving the eyes and making them bigger or smaller, you can suddenly change their expression from worried or scared to happy or frightened. And I think he looks really sweet because he's got little eyes. I don't know why, but he's just got these little eyes and his jaunty scarf. But, you know, with his little apple and his waving, that is a great end of term gift for a teacher, or just to thank them for coming into school. Thank you for coming and looking after my children. You know, I think a lot of people have realised after homeschooling for so long how wonderful teachers are. What a great gift for them. So you could even then cross stitch onto here. On the chart, you could draw out the words that you want onto your chart. You see? Because there's some spare bits, you could, on the spare bit of the chart, you could draw out the words you want, colour in them, and then you could follow them to stitch onto here. That'd be really nice. You could just put the initials just in the grass or there between his legs. But remember, these are really easy to personalise, because once you've stitched the whole thing and you've worked out that one square is one cross stitch, then it becomes very easy to personalise, and it's quite easy to draw them out as an alphabet. And the final one, I think the final one is the raccoon. So there's the raccoon sitting on his little mint green piece of grass. Again, everything you need is in the kit. He's on the screen at the moment. So all of the kits are $15.99 each, but if you want to buy them as a bundle, there are 2 bundles available. There's the owl, the fox and the squirrel bundle, where you get the, funnily enough, the owl and the squirrel and the fox together. And you could join all of those animals together as a squirrel. How do you say squirrel, fox and owl? Squirrel. All together. So you can buy all of those 3 together. That's £42.97 if you want to buy all 3. And you save £5. And then we've got the grey one. So in the grey one, you get the bear and the raccoon and the hedgehog all together. But that's nice, isn't it? Because they're all very similar colours. The colour in the bear's scarf is the same as the hedgehog's tummy, and they're all standing on a little piece of grass. I'm not sure that they've all been, I don't know, they haven't all been designed to go together like this, but they sort of work, don't they? They're really lovely, aren't they? So again, £42.97. The code is on screen at the moment if you want to buy the grey bundle. But remember, the lamp that I showed you earlier is perfect. I was talking to you earlier about using it for embroidery, but it's actually really good for cross stitch. Oh look, we can really try it out now. Now we've only got 3 of these remaining. Let me make sure it's turned on. So, oh, let me just, right, because I want you to be able to see this. Right, look. Look at that. That's amazing, isn't it? So look how, so when you don't want to see the top of my head, but if you're looking through like that, you could, it's really, really magnified. But you can just use it as a light as well. If you don't want to use the magnification, you can move that out of the way, and then you can just use it so that the light is on your stitching. But if you want to get up really close, you know, particularly at this time of year, but actually, the closer you get, the further away you get, the more magnification you get. Oh, that's amazing. That's really, really tight. And in fact, it's a really good way. You can see the holes. It looks like massive canvas when you look like that. But it's just really good for this time of year because remember, it's a floor lamp, it's a table lamp, it's a clamp to a table lamp. It's rechargeable, so you don't have to have mains power, but it does have mains power if you want it. You can have warm white, which is the normal bulb you'd have in your house, but you can also have the daylight if you want it really bright. It's LED, so it's not hot at all, which is quite useful, isn't it? And it has 3 levels of brightness as well, depending on how much you want to see it. And it magnifies as well, so it's really good for, it's very good for close-up work, but depending on also just in rubbish light at the moment when it gets dark. I mean, if it gets dark at 5 o'clock, it will be, it'll be even sooner soon, won't it? So, oh, it is, look at the time, 5 to just nearly 11. It is Remembrance Sunday, everybody. So we will be having a 2-minute silence. If we'd like you to join us with that. So we're going to just have 2 minutes. We'll just have one slide on air. So if you can join us for that, and we'll see you in a few minutes' time.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page. Have you heard about Yarn Lane, a TV show dedicated to knitting, crochet and all things yarn, bringing you demonstrations from our expert guests as well as the latest tools. Watch us on Freeview Channel 74, Sky Channel 670 or on our YouTube channel. And find out what's coming up on the show by following us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to our email newsletter or visit the programme guide on our website at www.yarnlane.com.
Hi, I'm Debbie Shaw, and as a professional sewer, I really know how important it is to use a high quality thread. Well, you think about it. You spend a lot of money on your sewing machine, you'll spend a lot of money on fabric, and you'll spend a lot of time sewing. So why let your thread let you down? I know a lot of our designers and customers prefer to use Aurifil thread. Now, this is a family business. It was established in 1983 and they're based just outside Milan in Italy. They produce superior quality threads for domestic and professional sewers alike, and they've achieved worldwide success with quilters, sewers, embroiderers and textile artists who all appreciate the versatility and the strength of these threads. It's all made from Egyptian cotton, which is grown just at the side of the River Nile, and Aurifil only use the long staple threads, which gives their thread that strength. Each one of these threads goes through 15 steps before it even gets onto a spool and then comes to you to use in your sewing projects. Now at Sewing Street, we've collaborated with Aurifil and we've brought you two collections of threads. So we have the Quilters collection, and these are exclusive to Sewing Street. We've done a lot of research with quilters, and these are the colours that you prefer to use. So we put a whole collection together for you. The second collection is the Essential collection. So this is for the homemakers, for the bag makers, for the craft sewers, for the dressmakers. And again, these have been proven to be the most popular colours that you're going to use. So if you want your projects to last longer and your seams to be stronger, invest in some quality thread.
Hi, I'm Sam from Adventures in Crafting. I'm a craft and crochet teacher based in Tring in Hertfordshire. Since lockdown, I've moved all of my classes onto Zoom, so I now have customers from all over the country. I teach lots of crafts, but crochet is my specialism. I became passionate about crochet when I was pregnant with my fourth child and in desperate need of some me time. Crochet became my sanctuary and I've crocheted every day since then. I'm a qualified teacher, and 8 years ago I began teaching crochet. I love sharing my passion with other people. I design patterns, sell kits and teach lots of classes. My classes range from beginners to next steps, specific makes and clubs. I also like to design crochet alongs. My most recent one was my Autumn Granny Square crochet along, which resulted in me designing this allotment jumper, which I love to wear when I'm out gardening and looking after my chickens. My crochet tip for you is to enjoy it. Crochet should be about taking part in a hobby that brings you pleasure. My claim to fame is that I met Kirsty Allsop at the Handmade Fair and I gave her one of my crochet sunflower brooches. I'm so excited to be taking part in Yarn Lane and I hope you'll enjoy my demonstrations.
Hello, I'm Kerry from Living in Loveliness and I'm delighted to be part of the Sewing Street team. I'm based in Wolverhampton and I absolutely love working with fabulous fabrics. In particular, I love working with fat quarters and showing you how to get the most from your scraps. I love bringing communities of sewists together and encouraging people to sew for greater causes. Most recently, we have been sewing for our NHS and key workers. I look forward to bringing you hints, tips and techniques. I'll see you soon.
Welcome back. Thank you for having the 2-minute silence with us. It's really important on Remembrance Sunday. I know that we can't all go out and go to church or go to memorials and be together, so it's very nice that we can respect that anyway, because it's a very important thing to remember. So in this hour we've got lots of different important sewing things, a selection of different items, things that I like actually. I mean, Hannah's chosen them, but we talked about these together because they are things that I like. So we've got them all in little sections. So I'm going to start off with Aurifil because I love Aurifil. Now, I used to be a bit sceptical about all these different threads and whether they were as good as they were. And a lot of people say, oh, you need to use Aurifil thread. And you know, there are a lot of items like that where people can be a bit, oh, well, you should use this, you should that, and it's fine. So I was a bit sceptical, and then somebody gave me a reel of Aurifil and I used it, and oh wow, it is different. So Aurifil thread is an Italian thread, but well, it's made in Italy, but it's an Egyptian cotton, which is a very long staple cotton, and the reason that they use the Egyptian cotton is it's much stronger, and it's finer, and it's smoother, so you get a better finish with it. And although I don't really understand how this works, you have different weights of thread. So a 50 weight thread is the sort of thread that we use in normal machine sewing. So if you're dressmaking or patchwork and you're doing piecing, that's your normal weight thread. The higher the number, the finer the thread. So you can get an 80 weight thread that's used for finer stitching, and you can get a 30 weight thread that's thicker. You know, there's all different sorts. So the Aurifil 80 is the same weight as a 50. Aurifil 50 is the same weight as a 50 in any other brand, but it just sort of feels finer. It sits in the fabric better, and it goes through it. When you're doing a lot of machine stitching, you know that if you use a lesser quality thread, that it will bobble and bunch up. You have to keep rethreading your needle. It doesn't happen really with Aurifil. It's just a good quality thread. So we have put together for you today a mega bundle of Aurifil thread because it is so lovely. Now, we've only done this once before, and I'm going to turn it around, and it's sold out because it's really popular, because you obviously realise, a lot of people know how lovely Aurifil thread. Now, all of the items in this bundle you can buy separately if you want, but we've put these all together at £169.99 because what this means is that it goes over the £149, which means that you can have split pay. Because the way that split pay works is that we split the full value over 3 months. So this is split into 3 equal payments of £56.66. So you pay the 56 and 66 today, and then you pay another one a month later, another one a month later, but you don't have to wait for the 3 months. We will send them to you straight away. So for just £56.66, you can have all of this bundle. Now, and also the way it works, there isn't any, it's not an interest thing. I mean, if you look at it and you get your calculator, £169.99 divided by 3 is £56.66. So there's no interest at all. It's just we split it into 3 to make it easier for you. And it only applies to purchases over £149, and it has to be single purchases. It can't be over group. So if you love Aurifil thread like I do, or if you've heard about Aurifil thread and wonder what it's all about, honestly, it makes quite a big difference. Now, this is a fantastic bundle. So to start with, you've got the Necessities House collection. Now, these are 50 weight thread. So as I explained, I'm going to show you all of them in a minute. But just to start off with the basic necessities, this is a 50 weight thread, which is the basic, the normal weight thread you use for everything. These spools are 1,300 metres each. Whoa, that's loads. And in there, I mean, it looks like really boring colours, doesn't it? But these are not. There's white, a deep cream, like a creamy beige, a pale grey, and a black. And that's why it's called the Necessities Bundle, because those are all the threads that you need. Well, they're not all the threads you need, obviously you need colours, but those are the threads that you use more than any other colours. And you've got a large quantity. You've got 1,300 metres of each. So there's 5,200 metres already, and that's just in this box. So we'll add it up. Remember that. 5,000, write that down, because we'll forget. 5,200 just in that box. And those are bigger spools, because those are the colours that you use the most often. So we'll put that to one side. Then we'll go to the Quilters collection. So there's 10 colours of thread. Again, this is a 50 weight thread. So this is your normal weight. And, well, I can't actually open. Why can't I open the box? There must be, I don't know what I've done here. Do you ever find that? Like you get boxes, you think, I have no idea how to open that, so I'm just going to pull them all out. So you get 10 colours in here, and you get gold, a pale ochre, that's like a very deep, bright gold, I'd say. Then you get purple, a deep berry red, royal blue, navy blue, beige, chocolate brown and grey. So that's called the Quilters collection, because those are the sort of colours that you most, I don't know why, but that you most often use for quilting. So it looks a bit of a dull colour range, but it's not really. You've got your basics of your black, a deep cream, a grey and a brown. So those are your basic colours. But then these are your other colours. So this is your yellow, green, blue and red. But we've done them in the muted shades because then they go with more fabrics. Quite often when you quilt, you want the texture to show and not necessarily all of the stitching. If you don't want it to all stand out, or you just wanted the fabrics to stand out in a more muted effect. So these are the colours that are really useful for any colours of quilting. Because, so say you chose the red, if you were then quilting on red fabric, it covers bright red, burgundy, pink, fuchsia. It covers all of those. So that's why it's the Quilter collection, because it's all the colours. And if we put rainbow colours in there, that wouldn't then go with everything. So you get, it's the muted palette, which is perfect for quilting. If you want the quilting to really, really stand out, then you can just choose brighter colours. But this is your very sort of basic. So you've got your necessities pack with the big, that's for your piecing. This is for actual quilt. I mean, obviously it's a 50 weight thread. You can use it for normal sewing. It doesn't have to be for quilting. But it's called the quilting collection because it goes with lots of colours. And I'm going to have to pack that away later. So we're up, so that's 2,000 metres in there. And we'll add that to our, so this one is called the Essential Collection. Now, Aurifil, this is exclusive, this collection to Sewing I haven't said that for a long time, to Sewing Street. I haven't said that for ages. So this is made exclusively with Aurifil for Sewing Street, this collection in particular. So you've got the basic thread again of the deep cream, the grey and the black. But this time we've put some brighter colours in for you. This is lovely, isn't it? So you've got turquoise, royal blue. Oh, and there's a mid sort of turquoise periwinkle, royal blue. Then you've got an emerald green, a lilac, a bright fuchsia, and then a deep burgundy colour. So those are the colours. When we spoke to Aurifil about what are the colours that people buy the most often, which are the most popular, you know, if you want to do general sewing or quilting, what 10 colours would go well with everything? So we have the Quilters collection, they're all muted colours, but in here you've got 10 colours, 200 metres each. Again, it's a 50 weight thread, so this is your normal piecing thread, dressmaking thread, just the normal put in your sewing machine and sew with thread. But obviously you can quilt with it as well. You don't have to use a light or a heavy weight fabric for quilting. You can use this. So you've got a great selection of colours now. And remember, with the split pay for $56.66, you can have this today and you can spread it, because you know, can you imagine how long this is going to last you? And so that's the beauty of buying it all in one bundle, is that, I think I've put them in the wrong way, but it is the only way that you can get split pay with Aurifil today is by buying this collection. I have no idea how those go in that box. I'll try and put them in. And then finally, I've got to have a little fanfare for these. This is the Tula Sunrise collection. Now, if you know Tula Pink's fabrics, her fabrics are mad. They're always really bright, vibrant, zingy colours that you think just will not go together, but they do. And Tula has curated with Aurifil a collection of threads that go with her fabrics, but you obviously don't need to have her fabrics or even like her fabrics. The colours are just amazing. Now this is a fantastic gift. So what you could do is buy this bundle, keep the basic ones that you like, and this is a brilliant present for somebody. So look, T and P. Let's open T first. I have a T. So in this box there are 10 colours. See, that's how you open the boxes. My box didn't open like that. You have 10 colours. These are beautiful, beautiful colours. So you get 2,000 meters in this whole box. And in this is lovely, isn't it? This is real shades of pink, lilac, mint, blue and purple. That's a beautiful colour selection. So remember, you know, you can use when you do your quilting, you can make it recede so that the quilting stands out. But if you want a bit of brightness, or you want to add a different colours, all of these colours go together beautifully. Then you've got like a light mint and a darker mint. Then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shades going across the spectrum between pink, brighter pink and purple. You've got a dark purple and a royal blue. That's just one box. If we open P, then you've got shades here. Oranges going through peachy oranges to bright orange and yellow. And then you've got these two. I love these 2 shades of green. They're sort of like an ochre-y lime green. And then you've got a deeper mint green. And then in here as well is the white and the black. And so I really like that collection, because you've got all those beautiful, the colours that Tula chooses are always clear. They're not subtle or muted or like super rainbow bright or primary. They're just really clear colours. And that is a lovely collection. So when we look at the whole bundle as a whole, 13,200 metres of thread. So you can't really see them all in the boxes. You know what's going to happen now. I'm going to mix them all. You know, and this is, honestly, I'm not just saying this. I love Aurifil thread. And I was very sceptical, because I don't like to, I'm going to separate these because I'm going to get them mixed up. I don't like to spend my money on something if it's not worth it. But if it's good thread, then I'm quite happy to. So this is what you get in the bundle. That's a lot of thread. That's going to keep you going long. And also, you know, nothing worse, particularly at the moment when all the shops appear to have closed down currently. You need to make sure that you've got everything in your bundle. I'm going to move them up a bit. You need to make sure that you've got threads that will go with all of your fabrics. Well, I think you'd struggle to find a fabric that wouldn't go with one of those. So for $169.99, you only pay $56.66. You haven't got to wait 3 months though. No, they will all come at me. They will be sent now, and then you just pay it over 3 months. But it is a beautiful thread, and they all come in these boxes. So if you're thinking, well, I'll have some, I'll give someone to somebody else, they do come really nicely boxed, and whoever you give them to won't know you've bought them on split pay. They won't know that it was all one bundle. You can just give them the ones you want. So anyway, that's... So if you don't want to buy them on split pay, while I'm talking, I'm just going to put these away because I'm worried I'm going to mix them up. And then we'll have the wrong ones in the wrong box. There we go. I can sort the other ones out. Oh, look, I got those back. Da, da, da. So if you want to buy just the necessities, the bare necessities, they come in this lovely box. So if anyone's watching and they know that somebody wants this, they come in a very easy to wrap box. Large spools, 50 weight, and it's 1,300 metres per spool. And you get white, a deep cream, a very pale grey and black. Those spools will last for ages. I don't know whether you can see now, these are open more, so you can see this better. So if I pull the thread, I need to find now what to put it on. Now let's not have that colour. Let's have purple, you can see it better. See now, look how fine that is. This is a different box. This is just to confuse you, but those have got plastic. I didn't want to unwrap those. But look how fine this thread is. So although it's 50 weight, it feels finer and more. It just when it sews, it feels finer, but it has the strength of a 50 weight thread. It's just lovely to deal with. But it's the fact that it's the Egyptian staple cotton long staple cotton, so it is very strong, which is important, isn't it? Right, so that's that pack, the necessities. So the Tula Sunrise pack now. Remember, in this pack, you get 2 boxes. The P box, the T box and the P box. I should put them that way around, shouldn't I? Tula Pink. So these feature all the colours that she loves. But I do like the way, you know, that she, because I've actually met Tula Pink, met her last year, just saying. And she is a sewer herself. She's a crafter. The reason she got into designing fabrics is because she loves them herself. And she also did, I can't remember if she did a degree or a certificate in design and fine art. And so she decided to design her own, but her mum owned a quilt shop and she used to work in it. So she's always been surrounded by fabrics and threads. So she knows about sewing, she knows what people want. And you can tell that, because in this box, she's got all these beautiful clear colours that go with so many, but she put a white and a black in, because she knows that you need those. It's good to have all those colours, but you need the black and the white as well. But these are beautiful colours, aren't they? I mean, actually, this is really inspiring. If you were thinking about you wanted to create a quilt of your own, you needed to think, what colours shall I use? What colours go together? This whole collection actually goes together. So you can see how, if you picked up these fabrics in these colours, how beautiful it would look. And it is very specific shades, isn't it? That particular shade of like turquoise, not super like cyan turquoise, but a more subtle one. It's a lovely colour, and that mint. The pinks that are in here, really lovely. So in this box, you get 20 spools, 2,000 metres. 2,000 metres in that section. In each box, 2,000 metres, so 4,000 in the whole collection. And then they come in these very easy to pack away boxes. And look, and then they come like that. All in there. Yeah, that is star of the show Christmas present, isn't it? Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. That's really nice. And then finally, that's fine. If you want to buy the Quilters collection, which are the basic colours, let me put the basic. Those are the basic core colours of like a dark cream beige, black, grey and milk chocolate. And then these are the muted, more subtle primary colours. So there's your yellow, there's green, there's blue, there's red, and then there's a gold and a purple as well. But they're not the bright primary colours. They're the shade that's sort of in the centre that will go with all of the other colours that you're stitching. So this is a really good box. $33.99. That's very good value for the Quilters collection. Yeah. And then have we done the essentials? No, we'll do the essentials next. Yes, that's the one I packed away because I was worried about it getting mixed up with the Quilters collection. Oh, there is an open one here. Oh, look at that. So I don't have to try and pack it away. Actually, that shows up really well. So there is the essentials collection. So again, you've got black, and it's not white, it's a cream, because cream obviously goes with more colours and more shades than white does. So black, white, cream and grey. Then you've got the really bright version. You've got turquoise, mauve, periwinkle blue, emerald green, royal blue, a burgundy and a bright pink. So that's a separate one, that's $33.99. So if you just wanted to buy two, the Essential Collection and the Quilters Collection go really well together. If you just want to buy one, the Necessities Collection covers all your basic needs. But if you want some colour, then the Tula Pink is amazing. But if you can't decide, what I would say is buy the Mega Bundle, $169.99. You only pay $56.66, which is actually less than the Tula on its own, which is 56. So there we go. So we've also got some other ones. This is another Tula Pink box. Not in the Mega Bundle. This is just on its own now. Completely different. 10 spools in here. Again, it's 50 weight, so that's your very, obviously your standard thread that will go with everything. Let me open this one. Now, look at that. Now we're talking variegated. Variegated. So, you don't use this. Well, do you know what? You can use this for general sewing if you've got a multicoloured fabric and you can't decide which one to use, because it will then go with lots of them. But this is for your machine embroidery or quilting, isn't it? If you were, can you imagine if you were quilting on like a plain black or a navy fabric and you quilt in that, how beautiful it would look. So you've got these are all variegated, every single one. So there's a variegated green, neutrals, grey, lime green, yellow, browns, a salmony, no, that's coral, I'd say. You've got a variegated apple green, and then that's a pink. So this looks absolutely stunning. If you're doing quilting, machine embroidery, or if you're piecing and you can't decide what colour to use because you've got a multicoloured fabric, it's ideal for that. But this is where the thread really sings, isn't it? It's where the thread speaks for itself. So as you're sewing, you're getting this lovely touch, and it looks like you're a lot more creative than you really are. It looks like you're changing colour and mixing and matching, but actually you're making beautiful colours. You know, if you were darning jeans, I meant so many jeans, where you just do lots of zigzag. You put a piece of denim underneath the hole and then zigzag across. You imagine doing it in one of these colours, it would look amazing. I normally do it in a colour that matches the denim, but imagine using one of these greens on it, it would really stand up. So if you want to make a statement with your stitching, the variegated threads really are the way to go. So that's $33.99. Right, I've just putting these away because if you've managed to get the mega bundle, well done. We have got fewer than 5 left of those in stock now. So if you do want it, I would pop it into your basket. It's the best present you'll ever buy yourself. Oh, sorry, in my opinion, I'm not allowed to actually say that. I mean, well, yeah, because actually there are other presents you could buy yourself that it's one of the best presents that you could buy, in my opinion, and everybody other sewer's opinion. Not nearly. Anyway, moving on. It's a great present. This is, again, 50 weight. This is a brand new one. This is the Garden State of Mind collection, because it's kind of, it makes me feel like cottage garden or impressionist garden. It's beautiful, isn't it? Again, it's 50 weight, 100 metres per spool. You've got a mint green, salmon pink, burgundy, a nice rich buttery yellow. That's kind of primrose yellow, and then a deep turquoise. So that's a lovely selection. It's if you're stitching things and using those sort of clear, bright colours, that's ideal. $17.99. And if you love the Aurifil collections, this is the Hoffman 2020 Challenge Garden State of Mind. It's lovely, isn't it? Very watercolour. That's what it makes me think of. Very watercolour. Right, now this one, I love this one. We haven't got very many of these. We've only got 10, 11 of these left. Now, I love this collection. It's called the Calm Collection. Now, this is an 80 weight thread. You remember I said at the beginning, the higher the number, the finer the thread. This is 80. So this is very fine thread. Now, first, I'm just going to talk to you about the reels, because that's more important than the thread. The reels are made from cherry wood. So they're not wood effect plastic. They're actual cherry wood. So when you finish with the thread, keep the reels and use them as decorations. Wrap a piece of fabric or a selvage around them, because they are beautiful. How lovely to have. You don't often have wooden cotton reels anymore, and these are cherry wood. They're lovely. So this is an 80 weight thread, which means it's a lot finer than the 50. You can obviously use it in your sewing machine. It's a strong thread. It's a pure cotton thread. It can be used for anything, but it's ideal for the reason it's called the Calm collection, because it's all your neutral colours. There's a white, a beige, a pale grey, a charcoal and a khaki green, which is just one of those colours that goes with most things. If you want to do just normal seams with it, it doesn't stand out too much. It's very fine. If you want to do quilting and you want the shape and the depth of the quilting to show and not the thread, this will settle and disappear into the fabric, so it's finer. For hand stitching, if you want to stitch hems, you know, when people go, oh, I've hemmed my jeans, but I can see the stitches. Well, A, your stitches might be too big, but B, your thread is too thick. So use this fine thread and it's much better. It's really good for applique, hand applique, and also EPP. So if you're sewing hexagons together, this thread will disappear more because it is finer. If you're appliquing something on, it will disappear more. So it's a really perfect thread. It's strong because it's your Egyptian long staple cotton, but it is much finer than ordinary thread. And I like the way it comes in this palette, and it is calm, isn't it? Particularly the fact that they've chosen, you know, they haven't put a black in there, because black's not very calm, is it? They've put this khaki colour in there, which is, so there's 274 metres on each reel. So you get more on these reels than you do on the 50 weight. It's only $26.99, so that's a lot for all of these. And I do like the fact that they are going into baskets really fast. I just think that they've sort of mirrored the exclusivity and the fact that this collection is very special by using the cherry wood spools. But if you are a hand sewer, then this is the thread for you. But also, if you're a machine quilter who doesn't want it all to stand out and show up, but just wants to do the quilting, this is perfect. But it's a really lovely fine thread. I mean, it's not super fine that it's really going to break, but it will make quite a difference to your hand sewing. You know, even if you're doing something as simple as you want to sew on name labels into clothes, using a finer thread for hand sewing means it won't be chunky and bulky, and it's more forgiving. So, and it's nice colours as well. Right, so we were talking about hand sewing, and let's talk about hand sewing needles. So I've got a little selection here for you. I'm going to start with this mixed pack. This is embroidery crewel needles. The reason they're called embroidery crewel is some people call them embroidery, some people call them crewel. So it's either. These are sizes 5 to 10. Now the beauty of a embroidery crewel needle is that they have long eyes, because you're going to be using these for embroidery. You're going to be threading slightly thicker threads than normal sewing thread in, so you need that longer eye so you can get more thread through, but you don't want a fatter eye because you don't want to be marking the fabric. They've also got very sharp points, but the shaft is stronger than other needles, because you know when you're going through the fabric many times and you're doing your embroidery, you need that. And it's always really important, needles are extremely inexpensive. So it really is worth investing in buying the right needle for the job. You know, if you've already bought an item, you've already paid your £3.95 P&P, so it's all free then. It's worth putting something like this in. Honestly, even if you're doing normal, just hemming something, just normal hand sewing, by buying the right needles, it makes a big difference. So the next one I'm going to show you is the chenille needle, because the chenille needles are also used for embroidery. They have a strong shaft, they have a very sharp point, but the chenille needle has a much bigger eye. So these are used for thicker threads. So if you're stitching with maybe all 6 strands of stranded cotton, then you'd need a chenille because you wouldn't get it through the hand. If you're using maybe a thicker crewel wool or a cotton perle, or even a cotton brode, you'd probably need a chenille needle. So they are exactly the same as a tapestry needle, they're exactly the same needle. They're a size 24, which is the same needle that you use for stitching cross stitch on Ada. The only difference is a tapestry needle has a blunt point, but a chenille needle has a sharp point. So if you've ever thought about, if you look at the size of the eye on this, you can see that they're very long. So you ever thought about tapestry needle and think that's just right? If you're doing any embroidery, pop the embroidery needles and the chenille needles in your basket, and that covers all of your embroidery needs. If you're quilting, now this is something when we've sold quilting needles before, a lot of people have asked about this. Why do they do big eye quilting needles? Now these are size 10, which is your absolute normal quilting needle. Quilting needles do come in different sizes, but size 10 is the most popular, the most often used. They're also called betweens, by the way, so if you ever wonder why you sometimes see them called betweens, sometimes quilting, they're called both. Now, these are exactly the same as quilting needles. They're short, they're strong, and the reason they're short is because when you do hand quilting, you need to pivot the needle in and out of the fabric many times, and if they were too long, that they would snap. So the shortness would give them the strength. The only difference with these normal quilting is they've got bigger eyes, hence the name, big eye quilting. And it's purely for ease of threading, no other reason at all. The eyes in normal quilting needles are very small, little round eyes, because you don't want them taking up too much, because you need to be able to pivot the needle. But so many people have problems threading a quilting needle, so these are big eye quilting. So just the difference is the eyes big. So if you love hand quilting, this is perfect. But quilting needles are ideal for hemming as well, because they're very short, so they're much easier to get in and out, make little stitches. So if you're doing sort of hand stitching, hemming, that kind of thing, you need to buy the Aurifil Calm collection, a pack of these big eye quilting. Easier to thread and very good for tiny small stitches. And finally, my other specialist pack of cross stitch needles. Now remember I said these are exactly the same, look, exactly the same as a chenille needle, but the cross stitch ones, because the other name for cross stitch needles, they're tapestry needles, have a blunt point, and the chenille have a sharp point. So these are just 3, but the difference between these and normal cross stitch needles, I moved it up and then I moved it out of the way. It's like that, up and down, there we go. And I've moved it again, there you go. It's this word here, that's the difference, gold plated. Now, if you do cross stitch, you will know that you are constantly pulling the thread in and out and in and out and in the fabric, and eventually it wears away. As one tip with needles, as soon as they start to dull, or even worse, go black, and you struggle to get them through the fabric, you need to discard them safely. You need a new needle. Needles have a lifetime in the same way sewing machine needles do, hand needles do. And if you change your needles, it will make a massive difference to your sewing, because it will slide through the fabric and it will be quicker. Gold-plated needles, the gold plating helps them to slide through the fabric much easier, much quicker, and you will find them easier to stitch with, just because they slip through better. In the same way, if you use a needle that's blunting, it takes ages to sew with, so it's worth it. So these are very inexpensive items, needles, but it's worth having them. If you use them a lot, if you're doing embroidery, buy the crewel and the chenille. If you're doing hemming or quilting, buy the big eye quilting and cross stitch. Well, obviously perfect for cross stitch. So let's move on to things that have these. These are my favourite scissors. Actually, these are really good quality scissors. So I love Fiskars scissors because they have such a long heritage. They've been going for ages. They know what they're doing. They know how to make scissors, and these are very good. These are perfect for, well, they're perfect for embroidery because they're short, so they're easy to cut small threads. But they're big enough. They're not your tiny, tiny little embroidery scissors. They're just very sharp and they're short, so they're very good multi-purpose scissors. Ideal for embroidery, snipping threads off, anything. $13.99. They've got the classic orange handles, so they're very ergonomic. They've got really, really sharp tips as well. So if you need to cut tiny little snips and things, it's just one of those classic. It's always good to have a very sharp pair of dressmaking shears. Love a pair of pinking shears so you don't have to finish off seams, and a very good pair of small sharp scissors, and these are the best ones for the job, I would say, because they're just the right length and the right sharpness. Right, let's move on to the dome. I was going to say machine needles, the dome threaded needle case. So I like this. I'm going to take it out of its packet so you can actually see it, and I'm allowed to do that because you can get it back in again. See, I haven't broken it. You can, if you can get, I think, is it 10, I can't remember whether it's 9 or 10, I think it's 10 threaded needles in here. So say you thread your needle, you put it in the slot, you turn it round, and that winds the thread on so it's not all hanging out. So say you have trouble threading needles and you need to do it in the light. Thread all the needles, you poke a needle in with the thread on, you turn it round, that stores the thread inside so it's not hanging out, and then you can put another one. Say you're doing cross stitch and you want all of the different threads threaded in advance onto here, you've got them all in. Get someone else who can see better, get them to thread them all and they're in there. Or just, you know, just have 5 needles with white thread, 5 needles with black thread. Maybe you're hand quilting a quilt and you can't be bothered to keep rethreading every time you run out. At the beginning of the evening, sit down, thread all of your betweens needles, pop them all in here, all with the thread on, and it won't all hang up. And then when you need them, you just pull the thread down, it all magically comes out without it all being knotted up together. So this is perfect for if you like production line sewing, which I do. I like to do all of one stage and all the next stage, and then all of the next stage, rather than doing everything. Is thread all your needles and then it's done. Also, for travelling, if you want to take your sewing with you, you don't need to take thread and needles. You could keep these in your travel sewing kit, so you could have one with navy, one with black, one with white, one with grey, all the different colours, pop them all in there. Again, ideal gift for somebody because it's a really lovely little gadget. It's made by Clover as well, and any of you who know Clover products, they are very, very good quality. So I'm going to pop, I'm not going to put that back in because it's a little tricky, but I haven't broken it. Sewing machine needles, again, do you know, one of the main things when people say, oh, my machine's skipping stitches. Oh, look at that. It's skipping stitches, it's not doing probably what's wrong with the tension. The first thing I say to people is change your machine needle, because 8 hours of sewing, that's all it can manage, and then you need a new one. And unless you're going to keep a tally, it's hard to remember what 8 hours is. So the first thing to do is change your machine needle. Now, these are universal. The good thing about universal needles is they're not super, super sharp, and they're not ballpoint. They're in between. So they have a very, very slight rounded point. So you can use them for woven fabrics like cotton and denim, all of those, but you can also use them for a very slight mixed knit fabric. If you're going to use a complete knit or stretch, you need to use ballpoint. But for these, universal, they will use for pretty much all fabrics. They come in the 6 needles, 2 70s, 2 80s and 2 90s. The higher the number, the thicker the needle, which is the other way round to thread, isn't it? The higher the number, the thinner thread. Anyway, a 70 needle is fine, is used for your lightweight fabrics like lawn and poplin, those sort of things. 80 is your middle of the road cotton fabric. 90 is denim and corduroy. So this is universal needle, will cover nearly all fabrics, and it's got the 3 sizes you need. £2.99. I always have 2 full packs and then one that's I'm using as well, because when something goes wrong for some reason, I always end up breaking 2 or 3 needles in one go. It's usually because I'm sewing through fabric that's too thick and I should be using a different needle. But there's nothing more frustrating than breaking needles, and this is the sort of the go-to pack. Right, leather. So we've got 2 packs here. Now, oh, that's what you get in your pack. It's assorted colours, 2 kilograms of leather, $34.99. So that's what you'll get in like that. And this is that's what it looks like. Now, obviously, this is assorted. You're not going to get an identical thing, but what you will definitely get is a mixture of colours and you will get 2 kilograms. And there's big pieces in here, big pieces to use. So say you fancy making a few little like coin purses or key rings for Christmas. Lovely pink colour there. You know, I tell you what I would make with these. Patchwork cushion. Look amazing, wouldn't it? A patchwork bag, you make yourself a shoulder bag. Cut out all the different things. If you've never worked with leather and you don't want to commit to buying, like, where do I buy it from? What quality do I have? What do I use? This is ideal. There's such a mixture of colours and shapes and sizes. Key rings and coin purses, you know, patches. You could put, wouldn't these, this pink, if you had that colour in it, look amazing as a patch on like a denim jacket. They're all random. You will get a mixture of colours and different sizes, but you will get 2 kilograms. I mean, it's amazing value. And the reason that it is such a good price is because they're offcuts. So they're not as a roll. But, you know, sometimes you don't want all the same colour. But you could layer these. You could put different layers of different colours on together. But if you were buying, and these are, wow, they smell so nice. But, you know, when you buy a leather purse, you think what they cost. But you could make a beautiful, with this mix pack, lots of things, or join them together, make some patchwork, or add some extra bits. You know, if you're making just a fabric bag, maybe it's a weekend bag and it's a big holdall, you could add corner points on with the leather just to strengthen it and give it a bit more. Even if you're making a little zip purse, by putting just a triangle of leather across one corner, it just gives it that extra detail. Or even just a tiny bit, if you just cut a small strip and thread it and sew it down and thread it through the top of a zip, and it gives it a zip pull, it will just adds a little bit more quality to all of your home makes as well. And, you know, I think these, I would love to have these as patches on my denim jacket sleeves. Look amazing, wouldn't they? So that's the mixed bag, which I've now completely... So random. So this is another one. That's, I'm not going to open that one. But, you know, that's random. Again, you've got black, brown, cream. You've got some pinks, all sorts of colours in there. So we also have one that's just black, because a lot of people only want black leather. So that's what that one looks like. There's a, I'm not going to tip out the whole thing because it's all black. But, you know, they're all different size pieces, little pieces, big pieces. You could make a whole bag from some. You can, they're also different sorts of leather as well, slightly. They've all got slightly different feel. So there's lots and lots of different things. But for $34.99, if you've not worked with leather, this is a really good way to start off with. And if you have, you'll know what a great price this is. So if you want to work with leather, as I'm massively keen on needles, you need... So you need the right needles. Now I've got here, if you're sewing leather by hand, I've got leather hand needles. No, I haven't got leather hand needles. These are both machine needles. Sorry. They are both leather machine needles, confusingly. But don't worry, we do leather hand sewing needles. These are just different makes. So you can just choose one. But we do have leather hand sewing needles as well. Now, whether they're hand sewing or whether they're machine, they work in a way that the point of them, which is almost impossible to show because it's so tiny, is like a chisel. So it's flat on the front and back. Now, I don't know whether if you got in really close. Sorry, I was just moving it in the right. Sorry, he's talking to me for moving it. If you get in really close, I don't know whether that shows, but the bottom of that needle is like a chisel. So instead of it being in a point or rounded, it's hard to see it, but believe me, it is a chisel. If you had that magnifying lamp, you could really see. So it's not a sharp point or a blunted point. It is that those two flattened bits, just like a chisel. So when it goes into the leather, it just cuts through it. So you get through it better. But also, these leather needles, they're also really good for oilcloth, PU, vinyl, anything that's not woven, because you need that chiseled point to cut into it. So we do machine ones and hand sewing ones. And if you want the hand sewing ones, you have to just have a look on the website for them. But we do two different sorts. So, oh wow, our assorted leather is flying out. the coloured one. You see, I would buy the coloured one because I want that pink, reddy colour to put on my denim jacket. It's lovely. What, the coloured one? Look, there's the coloured one again. But remember, you know, you will get a mixed pack. That's the colours I've got. But you will get, you know, and even in this one, it will all be different types of shades. There'll be a bit of black, a bit of fawn, there'll be different colours. I can't guarantee what because it is a mixed pack. But if you are getting this, do pop a packet of the leather machine needles in with them, because it will make a difference to your sewing, because it will cut through that chisel point. Yeah, we haven't got that many bags left, so if you want the coloured leather, do put it in your basket. And check it out as well, because if you don't, somebody else will have it. It's like going around the supermarket and then going to the toilet and coming back and someone's nicked your trolley. Although you haven't actually bought it. I often do that. I often go into the thing, because it's because there'll only be 20 left when everybody's come out, checked out. Yeah, there's only 20 bags remaining when everyone's checked out, so do buy that. We've also got knives. We've got lots of knives and cutters. Have a look at them on the website. And then we've got a few leather books, but this one is my favourite. This one is called Leather Bags. Now, what I like about this is I think this is a really good introduction to anyone who hasn't sewn with leather before, because it's leather mixed with other fabrics as well. Some is just leather. There's a lot of very, very, the basic information that you will need about how you do the thread, what sort of stitches you do. So all the basic stuff, what types of leather, what you can do, all that. So let me get to the projects. Now, there's a lot of mixing them with other things. So look at that tote bag. It's like a canvas tote. Remember I was saying earlier about mixing, putting leather corners on things, or just using your mixed leather pack to put the straps on and then you can rivet them on. That's a beautiful bag. That's stunning, isn't it? So they've used just a denim. You could use an old pair of jeans for that, couldn't you? With straps, and then put this lovely leather bottom on it. That looks incredibly stylish, doesn't it? And the book itself, it reads really well, and I read quite a lot of reviews about it. It gets very good reviews. Everybody who's used it says, "God, that works really well." You know, but this one, the clutch, that is just leather. Now, any of the scraps that you got in the scrap bag would be enough to make that. But it explains, how do you sew the zip? Look, you can see in detail, how do you sew a zip into leather? How do you put the ends on? And, you know, those are all the things that if you haven't sewn to leather before, I love this one. The fabric is wool felt with a leather bottom. It's lovely, isn't it? Oh, where has the time gone? Anyway, that book, there's more books on the website if you want them. So that is, well, I don't know, time's run away with us. That is the end of Sewing Street. Don't go anywhere. But tomorrow, if you tune in at 8 o'clock, we've got the first hour at 8 o'clock is Bugs and Critters Fabric. Well, that sounds really interesting, doesn't it? It's a brand new fabric collection. 9 o'clock, we've got the lovely Susan Briscoe coming back. She's launching the Book of Borrow. She told me all about this last time I was on air with her. It's really good. 10 o'clock, Going Places Quilt with Wendy Orlando. And 11 o'clock, Susan's back with Shashko. We love her for Shashko. And obviously, tomorrow, we've got Yarn Lane again at 12 o'clock with Wendy Orlando. So Yarn Lane is on next. Don't go anywhere. We're going to have a couple of minutes break, and then we will be back with our fourth show this week of Yarn Lane.